The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day. Welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Daniel Proulx, and thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show, as well as the previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 129. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter at Z2Z, over at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly at contact@z2z.com. All right, well, joining me for his illustrious return, Randy, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing all right.
Such excitement there, Randy. Come on, hype it up. Hype it up.
What do you expect? All right. I'll hype it up. Well, since my last appearance on the show, it's been a little bit. I added another graphics card to my mining rig.
Okay.
And man, is my studio is getting toasty.
Oh, I would imagine.
The one card is not too much. Add the second one, and
so you're still doing Bitcoin mining. Is that actually viable?
Ether mining.
Oh, Ether.
Bitcoin mining, not without ASICs. Ether mining, very viable. I bought the second graphics card with the money I made from the first graphics card. Completely paid it from that. Paid itself off.
Maybe I should get into this.
less than 6 months. It paid off.
So including
the cost to run it.
How much is the graphics card?
$400.
Okay, so in 6 months you've made $400.
Yep,
that's fair. Okay,
and now
you're not going to be living off that.
No. But I mean, I set up a computer, I let it run, and like once a month I have to restart it because it had a Windows update.
Yep,
that's it.
And how much in energy did you have to pay for that? I guess.
Well, turns out where I live has some of the cheapest energy in the country, fortunately. But it's
Thank you, Niagara Falls.
It's like I don't know, $5-6 a month in power.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
But hey,
and the second card will. So I mean, that's to run the tower too. So the second card is not doubling the power usage either. So it's more efficient because it's already running the tower.
Yeah.
They're also I tune the cards to use as little power as possible, but I mean they're still
chugging away,
running 24 hours a day, pumping out tons of heat. Yeah, so that's I'm pretty happy about that. My calculations actually underestimated how much I was going to make, so
that's always a good thing.
It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It's fun. I enjoy it.
So as the listeners can hear, before Randy goes on more and more about his mining operation, Tarragon is back from last week again. How are you?
I thought I'd show my face. Just I've been up and down, which I'll go into later. But right now not too bad. I was just shuffling a friend out of the door after playing some Magic before the show.
Oh, Magic!
Yeah, that's a topic for
that we've been going into more than usual lately since I started playing that too.
Well, not only did you shuffle a friend out the door, Tarragon, you brought one into the show as well. So go ahead and introduce our four. We have 4 people on the show today. This is very exciting.
Yeah, so I brought a friend of mine who was previously known as Miserly Pluto, but he's changed his gamer tag to Professor Pluto. It's Alex, my friend. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here.
So you finally put up the money, because before you were obviously hesitant. So you finally put up the money for your doctoral studies, right? What was it that you studied to give you that amazing title of professor?
I think it's pretty fair to say it was probably Rocket League at this point. And very bad, very fast games to play.
Excellent. So welcome to the show. This should be fun.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah. So it's kind of kind of stuffed here with, for 4 people. It's a bigger show, but so I think we should just kind of hop in to what we've been playing. And I guess at this point I'm going to let Randy and Tarragon talk, because I think there's going to be a bit of magic here going on, but I'm going to limit you guys. I'm going to say,
you're going to limit us? Come on.
No more than 10 minutes of magic talk. Go ahead.
Nope.
Yeah, well, let's try and keep it down to only a few minutes.
No.
We can certainly ramble on, and we might be able to touch on it, but I don't want to bore the listeners. But yeah, I mean, we've both been essentially, Randy's new to Magic, as far as I can tell. I'm an old hand.
I played
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh like years and years ago. Hey, Yu-Gi-Oh used to be good, okay? Then Konami took over, ruined it. Old Yu-Gi-Oh is fantastic. Yeah, so I played a little bit of Magic when I played Yu-Gi-Oh. Nothing serious. I had like one deck that we played by like half house rules, and it was fun. So I had a few cards. I had a basic understanding of how the game worked, but I didn't really ever get into it. Then I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh, didn't play anything, and then obviously I talked about this on the podcast before, got into Magic recently, and it's a slippery slope.
It definitely is a slippery slope, because I'm an old hand at Magic. I was playing Magic back when Revised was out, so that puts me back to like 1993 or something like that when I started. And I've been in and out of the game a few times in the 25 years since. So it's hard to believe that the Magic is actually 25 years old. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Dominaria, the current set, is like the 25th anniversary edition, essentially. It's just nuts. But yeah, so I forget. Yeah, that's right. I had a friend who'd been sort of coming over. I basically gave her an escape from the place where she's living, which is a crappy rooming house with really crappy neighbours. So she comes over once a weekend just to kind of get away from that. And she used to play Magic with me ages ago. And we're close friends. So I thought, I just happened to see, like, as I was driving in, I've got a little storage cage above where I park my car, and that's where all my Magic cards are kept, because I've still kept them over the years. And I sort of looked at them and thought, I've got some Commander decks that I got from, like, several years ago. That might actually be something we can do on the weekends. And so I pulled out the Commander decks and sort of had to go with them and got into that. And then I was pulling out all of my other cards, and then I was sorting them through, and then I was thinking about, what's happening with Standard at the moment. And before you knew it, I was going and checking out the metagame and checking out prices and getting my Magic Online account going again, and selling. I basically went into my Magic Online account, which had been dormant for 5 years, and I sold all of the cards to bots, and I ended up with something ridiculous like 1,450 tickets, which is equivalent to $1,450 worth of like tickets that I can use to buy. It's just nuts. So obviously I've been pretty heavily into Magic at one time or another. Yeah, but it's very much a slippery slope, because now I'm trying to chase down all the other Commander decks, and I'm adding to these current ones, and I've been thinking about Standard, and I've got some friends I've been getting in contact with. Will it ever end?
No.
Okay.
So that's so I kind of started playing Standard because I was like, I love, like, part of what I loved about Yu-Gi-Oh was just building decks. I love building decks. I'm not a fan of taking deck lists off the internet. But it kind of turns out that's what you have to do in Standard, I discovered. I mean, I built at the beginning, I built a competent Standard deck, but it's not enough to compete with like the net decks, the competitive decks at
it depends on
any organized event. Really,
I would argue it depends on where you are in the season. If a new set has just come out, that is the perfect time to start brewing your own decks. If the format is fairly mature, you're not going to gain much by brewing your own decks unless you come up with some really oddball out there idea that's going to sort of, and particularly if it has to suit the metagame, because there might be a particular metagame. You might build a specific deck to beat what is the best deck at that time, but that will only work for like a weekend or two, if you know what I mean. So it really depends. But yeah,
no, I had a friend who used to do that with Yu-Gi-Oh too. Is he would specifically build decks to beat the metagame because he didn't like the metagame.
Yeah. Well, and it's just you playing against the trend, which is perfectly fine. That's a perfect strategy. I don't see there's any shame in net decking. It's just you're trying to get the best information for the time. So.
Yeah, and I'm kind of going more back to Yu-Gi-Oh in that like Yu-Gi-Oh had, because there was no real like expiration date on the cards like Magic has.
Yeah.
There was a lot more options, and you could pretty much at any time build a deck that was as good as whatever like meta net decks were around. But with Standard, I find that it kind of gets like perfected. Like whenever a month into the set, you're this is the best deck, or like these are the two best decks, and then that's what you have to play to stand a chance.
I guess the other thing
just because your card pool is so small.
The other thing about the meta in Standard as well is that decks. They might be the best deck, but it also might be the most expensive by a huge margin. So it's not the most played, which is interesting. So even though it might have a good win percentage, it'll actually be not played as much just because people can't get access to the planeswalkers that they need or whatever. But anyway, we could probably go on and on about that, and that's maybe a subject for a different podcast.
Anyway,
I have a question about it.
Yep.
Randy, did you enjoy sending people to the Shadow Realm when you used to play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes, I sent many people to the Shadow Realm.
I actually saw an article recently about Magic, and it might have been a video. I can't remember where it was from, but there was nine cards that were worth about $25,000.
Yeah,
it's just crazy how much money. I don't know if they're legal in the new iteration of what you guys play, but man, they're expensive.
No, mostly those cards are legal in Legacy, which is like, if you're going to be, my understanding is if you're going to be like moderately competitive in Legacy, it's like $10,000 minimum to buy your deck.
Yeah.
Because like these are all old cards that are out of print that
will never be. The thing is that
will never be.
Wizards Wizards made a no reprints policy for a certain set of cards, and there's a certain set of those cards again, which is called the Power 9, and those cards were just. During the very early phases of the game, where they didn't really understand how the mechanics would work together well. These cards were just ridiculously overpowered for what they cost, essentially. Yeah. And so, as a result, they became the cards you had to have in your deck to win. Then they got restricted, so you could only actually have one of each of these in your deck anyway. And even then, basically, they're always in every deck. And then they weren't going to be reprinted. They stopped printing most of these in revised. So the Power 9 are limited to Alpha and Beta, which is like an Infinite, which is kind of the pre-revised, most commonly printed sort of stuff. And then there's the dual lands. But yeah, it's those prices get up there. They're pretty ridiculous. Black Lotus is the card you're thinking of, which can be getting into ridiculous amounts of price. But again, it depends on which version of it and how good the condition of it is. If it's a played version from the Infinite, you're not going to be paying that much for it. A mint condition one from Alpha is going to be in the 25,000 plus. So yeah, it really depends. I've seen one around 5 years ago. I saw one around that was actually signed by Richard Garfield, and it was mint and had been sealed, and that was like $10,000 then, and that's going to be at least 5 times that now. So yeah, there's a few out there that are pretty high. However, nobody really plays Legacy. This is the other side of that.
Oh, lots of people play Legacy around here.
Okay, well, it's just the thing is that who has the cards? There aren't
no, exactly.
There aren't that many
so
around
expensive.
there, and the cards were out. So anyway, let's move on to another topic.
Yes, I agree. That was 3 minutes under the 10-minute limit.
We'll talk more off air.
But Randy, what have you been playing Xbox related? I know we played something just today.
So we'll talk about today, which was a real bummer. So we were making good progress on the four-player Doomsday Heist, the Criminal Mastermind Challenge for not dying. And so today we start up a mission. We get in. We failed. We had to dashboard like we usually do, and everybody did everything normally. And we get back in, and one of us had the progress reset. and we couldn't figure out why.
It was Fug.
It's
Fug. It's his fault. We'll blame him openly on the show. I think it's okay to do that.
Let's assume that somebody is listening to this podcast for the first time and they have no idea what the context is. What actually is this Doomsday thing? Because I don't actually know what it is.
Oh, okay. So the Doomsday Heist is the newest piece of real content, I'm going to call it, for GTA Online. That's not just like more cars and things to spend shark cards on.
Okay, so it's a GTA 5 online thing.
Yeah,
okay.
GTA 5, GTA Online. It's a heist mission that is about the length of the original 5 heists. So it's a huge piece of content.
So it almost sounds like a raid.
Kind
of, yeah.
Kind of.
And the difference with this one, you can do it with 2, 3, or 4 people, where the originals were all 4 people. So this achievement, the criminal, it's an achievement for getting the Criminal Mastermind Challenge, which is for completing the entire heist with the same group in order without dying. But you have to do it with 2 people, then you have to do it with 3 people, then you have to do it with 4 people. You don't necessarily have to do it in that order, but you have to do the whole heist without changing anything, with the same 2 people, the same 3 people, then the same 4 people, all without dying. So I've done 2 and 3. Now we were working on 4. So what happens when you die? Because that would obviously be very, very, very difficult. But you can dashboard if you're quick, and it doesn't reset your progress because the game doesn't save. So normally that's what we do. It hasn't ever been a problem, but we noticed today that Fug didn't have the notification when we loaded into the game that the challenge was still active.
Right.
And so we couldn't figure out what was going on. We're like, okay, whatever, we're less than halfway in, no big deal. We'll just restart. So we did. We did the thing. We did all the preps. We were on our 3rd setup for the last setup for the first heist, or the first act of the heist. And we noticed again. And at this point, we hadn't dashboarded. We did this all in one session. No dashboards, no deaths.
Yep.
And again, check status, and Fug's status had reset.
Way to go again, Fugs. Thanks.
But and then there was no chance this time at it being too slow to dashboard or anything like that. So turns out that since last week there was some GTA Online went down, and since then there have been a whole bunch of problems with it. And for some reason the game just didn't track that one of the missions was completed, so it thought, oh, you're doing it out of order, and then just reset it.
So it's actually Rockstar's fault.
Yeah, and that may have been what caused the first reset too, because up to this point, there's no reason to believe that we should have lost progress the first time.
That's a bummer.
So that was a real bummer. So we're gonna have to restart that again. But we're getting very good at it. The first act doesn't take us very long at this point,
except for the driving and the
driving. Yes, the driving and
the getting into a lobby.
The loading takes. I think we spend more time waiting for the game to load than we do completing the missions.
Yeah,
because
it's frustrating.
It's brutal.
It's really frustrating.
It's so slow. But yeah, so we played GTA Online, like we do most weekends, and it was fun. I played Lost Planet 2, which is the only other game I've been playing. In May, I think I unlocked 3 achievements. That's what happens when you play Lost Planet 2.
It's the game that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I did finish it on Extreme. I was pretty happy about that, as some of those parts are pretty tough. So I did that. I finished just a couple of the online boosting things that required 4 people. And now I'm working my way down the big list of miscellaneous things to do. Which is a very big list. I think I'm looking. I have it all in a Google Doc. I've got 5 pages of things to check off left. I'm deleting them as I go.
So Randy, do you think Are you aiming for 4 achievements in June just to top yourself? Like I know it's a big ask, but
unless I play another game, well, we'll probably finish Criminal Mastermind, which will get us get me 2 achievements.
We hope. I
can probably get 2 more in Lost Planet 2, so I could probably get 4. I don't know. It depends. I'm not. So there are some achievements that I could focus on.
You can do it, Randy. You can do it. You can be the high achiever for this achievement-focused podcast. Come on, you can do it.
4 achievements, yes. Yeah, I mean, like, there are achievements that I could focus on, but since they all just come with making progress towards the platinum achievement, I'm not really focusing on them. I'm just kind of going down the list and checking things off. And if achievements come along the way, they come. And if they don't, they don't.
This going down a list of things and checking them off just reminds me so much of Dead or Alive Extreme 2.
I've heard that one. Quite a mess.
Which is literally the game of you go down the list and check off its bathing outfits. Literally, you've got to go. All of the achievements are tied pretty much to getting all of the bathing outfits for your character, and then giving all of your bathing outfits to every other character in the game. So not only do you have to get it for yourself, you have to then buy like 5 other copies of them as well and give them away to each of the other. It's just. It's a really
that's
dumb
that
game.
One that is that the one where either nobody started it, like you either have no achievements in it or all the achievements in it.
No, it's either you can play that game for forever pretty much, and you will not get an achievement in it. You actually need to really focus on getting the bathing outfits, because I'm serious. It's all about the bathing outfits. There's no other achievements like.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Dead or Alive Extreme is about.
Yeah, but to get the other ones, that's a lot of work as well. Like just to get one, like. Firstly, you have to to do it in any reasonable amount of time. You have to abuse a glitch in the game to basically cheat money. So even that takes time. Let's say to cheat all of the money that you need might take 4 or 5 hours. Then you've got to go and buy all of the stuff, which not all the stuff's available on a particular day. So you have to go cycle through all the days and do all of the activities, and then wait for the next day and do all the activities. And so you get all of that, and then you've got one. So let's say at a minimum, you're probably looking at 9-10 hours for one single achievement based on getting one set of bathing gear. Then you've got to give all of that bathing gear away and hope that the person that you're giving it to accepts it all, because they might reject it, and that will blow the achievement. Unless you reset quickly enough.
This does not sound
fun. So you've done all this, and you've spent all that money, you've got all the bathing gear, and you've given it all away to one person, so that's 2 achievements you've got now, right? Then you've got to go and buy all the bathing equipment again, so that means you've got to get all that money again, right? And then you've got to give it all away again to another person, so that's another achievement. And that's for one character. Then you've got to do all this again for all the other characters. So it's just, and that's all of the achievements in the game.
So could you get all of the bathing suits once, back up your save, give them all away, take your old save,
theoretically
use that old save 5 times and give them to the 5 different people without having to rebuy everything?
Theoretically, but I think there is also something about having given it to all of them. So I think good.
Okay, so we'll move on.
That's a spreadsheet game.
Yeah, that does not sound fun. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it to Dr. Pluto over here. Please tell me that you haven't played Dead or Alive, you haven't played GTA, you haven't played Magic. Tell me you've played something else. Tell us what you've been playing. Maybe a win or a failure if you have one. But what have you been up to?
Well, I have not played Dead or Alive. I've been wary of that one for a while, but I don't really think it's my thing anyway. GTA 5, I played it on Xbox 360. And then you get to the point in that where you've got to, get all the secret packages, get all the alien ship parts and all the torn up pieces of paper. And it's like, ain't nobody got time for that. So I move on to other things. But this week, what have I been playing? Well, I might start at the bottom because it's a bit controversial. Not so much the game itself, but I've been playing Gears of War 4, which is that's a fantastic game.
Oh, have you been going for the new ones?
No, not yet. The new achievements. If you want to have a laugh, just go on to True Achievements and look at the article about the new achievements coming out, and just everyone getting stuck into them about it. Heaven forbid a dev supports their game. It's 2 years old at this point, over 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's unheard of that a game's been supported that long. But no, I just get together with a few of the guys on, Friday night, and we'll do 1 to 50 in Horde on some of the, the release maps and get that achievement, and then we'll go on to the post-launch maps and
what my problem with I was going to say GTA with Gears of War with Horde mode, because that seems to be where most of the achievements lie, is how long it takes to do it. That's my frustration. I wish I didn't have to play Horde mode waves 1 through 50, because that's like
yes.
2.5 hours at the minimum. Of a commitment.
Even the 1 to 25s are such a long.
Is it like a raid?
But anyway,
so we get together. It's been mainly Friday night. Have a few beers and play a bit of Gears. So do that, then
beers and gears.
Beers and
I did have my stream name as Beers of War 4, so I thought I was pretty original there. But also the viral events going on True Achievements as well. So I've hosted a couple of sessions for World of Keflings, where you just send collectibles off to people. So I think there's about 10 or 15 people maybe that got that achievement because I send the collectibles out to them. And if anyone on the podcast wants that achievement, I can do it anytime you like. Just send me a message on the Discord or on True Achievements or whatever, get that for you. But I also...
carrier pigeon. Yep. Sorry.
Yep.
Don't let me derail you.
So done that. That was good. Viral event's really good. Then I also played this week everyone's favorite game, Hannah Montana, the movie, the game. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's I think, Randy, you'd really like it. It's that so bad it's good kind of bad.
Perfect kind of balance.
Yeah, and for some reason, when you boot up the game, the music comes on and you see all these pictures of Hannah Montana coming up, and she's got white jeans and there's a black stain on the jeans. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but it's not great. But it's one of the games that I'm going to complete on my stream for hitting up 300,000 Gamerscore. I normally would have a list a mile long, but I've got to hit 300,000 on the dot, and right now I'm 298,180. And I've got another game.
I've got
another game, Barbie and Her Sister's Puppy Rescue.
I've got to get that too.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yes. Been looking forward to that. I can tell you what. But apart from that, I've been playing a lot of Rocket League.
Nice.
Just can't help myself with that game. I can't actually think of another game that I've played after I got all the achievements.
Yeah, so Proulx and Alex, you two should talk.
Yes, because Rocket League is the best ever. I haven't actually played the update. I haven't played the new map or anything. Not that it really is tremendously different, I'm sure. But how's the new map?
It's like being at the beach. It's a pretty cool map. I mean, like T said, it's it's the same size and that, but it's a pretty cool environment to play in. And I think the event starts next week, where you'll get those tokens to redeem for new items and that kind of thing. I think there's a new crate as well. I think I got one. I didn't realize there was going to be a new crate, but I'm sure with that new event, I'll just redeem all my first tokens for decryptors, because I'm not sure about the microtransactions yet for buying keys, but I will get to that. I'll get to them at some point. I'm sure I'll cave and buy some keys.
Now I imagine you feel the same way I do, where I wish that Psionics supported, as far as achievements go, supported Rocket League the same way that Gears is being supported with achievements, like every 3 or 4 months. Like, that would be amazing. I would love that.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to some more achievements for it, and they've had a few updates recently. And it's like, where are they? I think it would kind of be very different to the way people react to Gears of War. But at this point, there's been probably 6 months at least with no achievements.
Their challenge with Rocket League is that Rocket League is very, very multi-platform, whereas Gears of War is not. Gears of War can tune itself to achievements, whereas as there's been the experience with Elite Dangerous, for example, the achievements that come out with the expansions actually can't be mirrored exactly in trophies, just due to limitations on like the guidelines of how trophies work. So just some of the trophies are just not available, or not. But some of the achievements that we have on Xbox are just simply not available as trophies on PlayStation because of the way they've set up their systems. So that might explain it. Is it's more about the multi-platform stuff than necessarily being they're not doing achievements.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I am nervous that one day they're going to pull a Wolfenstein 2 on us and put a real achievement in there, like get to Grand Champ, have a season title in your name or something like that. And as much as I love Rocket League,
like a leaderboard achievement.
It's an interesting position to be in, though, because I've actually thought about it. Like, I have friends that play the game still quite consistently, and they're Diamond 3. I can't even remember how the ranking system works now, but they're up there, and like I love the game, and I'm pretty decent at it. But there are ranks that I'll never ever hit, and if they put an achievement in it for that, I would be devastated because.
Me too.
I would want it, but I don't think there's some ranks I just don't think I'd be able to get to. So,
and it's not like you can boost it either.
And you can't. Yeah, exactly, because it's so multiplayer focused. But I want them to have that balance where everybody can get the achievements. The Rocket League achievements have been super easy, like super.
Yeah.
Easy.
I really need to go finish mine up. I'm super close to most of them. I just need to go play some more.
You did actually play games. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's not Magic. There's no cards in Rocket League, Randy.
Speaking of Magic again, have you actually played the Magic games, Randy? Like on Xbox?
On Xbox, I play Arena so I can draft more.
Yeah.
I just get my daily rewards, and then that's it, and then I draft on the weekends.
I was more specifically about the Xbox ones, because I kind of need a partner in crime to go through and get a lot of the bunch of those achievements.
I could probably do some. I mean, I have a lot of them, I think, because most of them have been free at some point.
Anyway, that's an aside. We'll move on. I don't want to.
Yeah, we can look into it.
So have you? Okay, so we're still on Mr. Pluto back there playing Rocket League, but anything else other than that?
No, that's it. But man, I know I hear you talk about it every other week. Oh, Rocket League, man, is so good.
I love that game.
If they just kept releasing achievements every quarter like that, I'd play Rocket League until Xbox wasn't available anymore, I reckon. But like you said, the skill capital. Well, then I would. Yes, I have a PC that can run it, so I would do that. I'd stack that if they had it.
Oh my goodness!
Achievements.
If Microsoft bought Psyonix and they put Rocket League on as many platforms as they're putting Minecraft on, oh my goodness, I would lose my mind, and it would be amazing.
I would buy a Vive to get the Rocket League achievements in that version.
Oh man, Rocket League in VR would be.
I just had a really
would throw up instantly.
I just had a really weird thought, and this is kind of related to this. I just had a really weird thought. You know how they bring in Minecraft add-on practically everything, and it's got Xbox achievements, right?
Yeah, and the toaster version. Yep.
Yeah. What if they updated the PlayStation version so you had to sign into Xbox Live and unlock achievements? That'd be hilarious.
I don't think that would fly with Sony.
Oh, you reckon?
You gotta think of the children, that you can't have cross-platform play.
Oh, they don't need to play with anybody. They just have to sign in to get the achievement. Anyway, that would be funny.
I mean, to be fair, they could
that'd
do
be
that.
hilarious.
They could do that, right? Well, Microsoft can't do it because Sony probably won't let them, but they could do that with the current version of Minecraft. But obviously that's not the case. Anyways, we're obviously going way off the rails here. Tarragon, what have you been playing?
Well, I actually decided to get into my random to-do list a bit late in the month. I had a few I could sort of knock off pretty quickly, and I was kind of prepping for the next round, cleaning up my game collection. So yeah, I actually played a little bit of Halo Master Chief Collection, the Chinese edition, funnily enough. Bit of Elite as usual, but I actually got an achievement in it. I think I've got a couple of achievements in it this round. So I'm basically only got about 10 or 11 achievements left in Elite Dangerous, and I want to try and knock over most of those, as I think I said last week, before I go away on this big sort of month-long spanning trip across the galaxy. So that trip has been pushed out a bit because one of the guys is actually about to have a baby and move to like another country. So we're going to wait until that's kind of. Yes, he is. It was very surprising for him and for his wife. So, yeah, he's moving to another country and he's still got to get settled and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to wait until that's done before we take off, just so he's got enough kind of time to commit to actually flying to these places and meeting up. So, yeah, we've got more prep time and lead time, which means that I can kind of focus on just getting these achievements out of the way and engineering my ship and whatnot. So, yeah, Elite as usual. A bit of Minecraft, just it was basically I had one achievement in there and then went and got another 20 or 30 or something like that because they were just there. Let's see, what's that one? Oh, Dance Central. I actually started playing Dance Central, would you believe it?
I saw you playing that the other day and I was like picturing you dancing around in your living room.
It's really fun.
I'm
terrible at it, but it is really fun.
Yeah, well, basically, I figured like my gym had closed down, and I'd come out of a bit of a mood slump, and I was like, okay, well, now I should be going to the gym a bit more and trying to get my endorphins running it properly again. So my gym had shut down for renovations until like June 4th or something like that. So I thought, yeah, well, I'll just try something on the Kinect. I mounted my Kinect up on my wall specifically so I could use it in this small space. So I should probably do that. Dance Central Spotlight. Just had a go at it, and yeah, it yields a lot of achievements very quickly, which was a bit surprising. But, yeah, a lot of fun, actually. I was really surprised. Never really gotten into dance games properly, but I was just playing it for fun, that word. And, the only side effect was that the very next day, my back was absolutely killing me. So I kind of had to take a day off, and then it's like, okay, I'll do it again a couple of days later. Back was killing me again the day after, and it's like, right. So I need to do this more, but it's going to take a while before I can do it without pain. So that's
you're out of Kinect shape.
It's it's kind of mixed blessing there, really. A little bit of Sea of Thieves. Just had some friends from work start up a session and invite me in. So we had a look at the Hungering Deep, or at least the first little bits of the Hungering Deep, which was pretty cool. It's essentially following a whole bunch of clues to try and get to the end location. So I don't know how far we're through. We got like about 5 or 6 steps in. So. But yeah, that's pretty fun. It's been a lot of good buzz about that, actually. And everything else was, the Assembly, which was was a VR game originally, but then they released it as a regular game, and it's kind of like a not a walking simulator per se, but it's kind of one of those kind of adventure-y, kind of first-person adventure games where you've kind of got to go and solve some puzzles and do some things, and there's no sort of combat or anything like that. It's okay. I wouldn't rate it as very good, but and besides that, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've been doing gaming-wise. Other than that, yeah, doing random to-do list stuff and setting up the Game of the Year stuff and Game of the Month stuff, sorry. And that's me. Coding a lot.
Yeah,
just killing it in the random to-do list with all the new improvements you've been putting in there as well.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up because we should talk about it. There's some improvements that you made to the bot, and plus the Game of the Month thing that you just alluded to. But why don't you go ahead and go into a little bit of detail there, because you've been doing some work, and it's really cool, the updates that you've been adding.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a couple of planned updates, but the main thing about the bot is the actual. I've got rid of the bot, so the bot isn't actually. If you don't sort of know Discord, you can have bot accounts. And they're basically essentially programs that just sit there and they will respond to stimuli and then output stuff, or they'll do things at certain times depending on what your bot does. So initially I'd set up the notifier for the random to-do list as a bot, and it would just basically every time it receives a notification that somebody had unlocked something, it would put something into the channel. Bots actually have a bit of a limitation though. They basically have to act like real people, so they can't do some of the nicer things like embeds, which you might have seen in other channels in Discord. You get sort of a little color bar on things, and it sort of formats it a bit differently. And the other problem with a bot as well is it has to be running all the time. So basically, it's a server, and you need to maintain it and make sure it's up and all that sort of stuff. And I sort of thought, well, I don't need to do that anymore because I've kind of been experimenting with this other way to do it called webhooks. So basically, I converted all to webhooks. That only took me, it took an hour or so. And then I, basically embedded it all, made all the things links. It was all pretty sweet. And then I did some funny things around how the verbs work, which has gotten a lot of interest. So basically, we've got things like one I've got right here, which is Chin Doctor Argy-Bargy's Work-Play Balance from Rush, a Disney Pixar adventures. So there's a few little in-jokes in there, but just lots of random odd verbs, which has been getting a lot of laughs, I think. From,
it's
from
good
the community.
stuff. It's really fun to jump in there now and see the different kind of stuff that's going on. But of course, the Game of the Month stuff is really cool too. That's a really interesting inclusion as well. Yeah,
so Big Earl contacted me privately and just suggested that perhaps we could do a similar thing that we're doing for the random to-do list for Game of the Month, and I thought that was a really great idea. So I basically went and did a cut-down version. I stripped what I needed to from the random to-do list, made it a clone of it essentially, and basically if you want to, you can opt in for being tracked, and I'll put you onto the spreadsheet, and basically whenever you unlock something in that particular Game of the Month, it will post into into that particular channel on the Discord. Again, with all of the standard verbs. So, so it's all the same tracking, and I've put in a special thing as well for when you complete the game, which I guess you'll see. Though I might make it a bit more special. We'll see. But there's a bit of difference.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, cool. I like that. I think it's a really neat. It's kind of a really cool sort of combination of a lot of what the community already has seen, but in a new way. And
so I've actually there's been a few other things that have been floating around, and I'll sort of talk about them here just because they need a bit of discussion, or potentially can have a bit of discussion with the wider community, perhaps for people who aren't in Discord as much. But there's a few things that might be coming, which is basically rerolls. I'm proposing that we allow a free reroll every month for every person. So that's not active yet, but that's the proposal. That basically will just get around people accidentally leaving a game on their list that they don't want, so they can just get rid of that achievement with no questions asked, or something that they just know they're not going to get to, and they might have gotten like that ridiculously difficult achievement from X and X game for the 7th time in a row, and they don't want that to come up again, so they can reroll that one if they want to. It'll be pulled from the same tier of difficulty. So you won't be getting away. You won't be like trading one really difficult one for an easy one in the theory, but it does give you some options there. It just makes it a bit more sort of fun if you've a bit disheartened by your list and you see this ridiculous 50 ratio achievement. It's like no. The other one as well. This one is probably a little bit more difficult to implement and difficult. I'm not convinced that this is the way to go, but the idea is basically to have a pool of 50 achievements each, and your score is actually taken from your best 25 of those 50. So what it will allow you to do is you could just hammer out the low hanging fruit, the low 25, but your score will be low, and then you can actually potentially increase your score by earning some of the higher ones later. This works around the whole problem of having things you just don't want to go for. Because you've got other options, so that's just an option. What do you think about that sort of thing?
I kind of actually really like that idea, only because it would also. I use RTDL to encourage me to do stuff that I wouldn't normally do anyways.
Yep.
And so last month, for example, was a terrible month for me. It was like it just happened to be like a whirlwind of bad games that I didn't want to play, and achievements that were kind of really tough to get.
Yeah. Whereas if you had the pool of 50, theoretically you'd have ones. You get a better mix.
Exactly. It would encourage me to do more, and I could also pick. It feels like it sort of it helps people who don't tailor their lists.
Don't curate as much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I would like that a lot.
Yep.
but I could see how it could be an issue for some people.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, given the nature of the RTDL is meant to be really basically for fun. I'm not sure that people take the scoring too seriously. But even so, with the 50, you're only getting a score of 25 of them, so it's kind of a. Yeah. Anyway, it's just an interesting option. I'd like to hear some more opinions on that one before I sort of go ahead with it. The only kind of problem I have with it is that it basically doubles the amount of hits I need to make against True Achievements API for those kind of things. So I need to be wary of doubling our hit on the server, essentially. But I can probably get around that by sort of staggering the checks or something like that. So I'll do 25 in one scan, 25 in the next scan, and that way it works out to be the same.
I say go for it, by the way. I am all for that.
Yeah.
That seems really cool. I like that idea a lot, but go ahead.
Cool. All right.
I really like the re-rolls, actually. I think I got rolled an achievement in Halo Reach, which I thought I had removed from my list, but obviously didn't. The one where you finish it on Legendary by yourself, and man, I am not good enough. I am not good enough for that.
You can do it.
You can do it. Yeah, I would say the free rerolls is basically going to happen. It's just a matter of when. The thing for us, and it will probably be implemented this month, so you'll be able to. I'm pretty sure you'll actually be able to reroll that one this month. So I can't tell you exactly when, but I want to get that in by mid-month. But the only thing that has to happen there is basically I don't want to be having to manually go and redo these ones for every person. So what needs to happen is more about how it's managed and how other staff at Z2Z can actually go and trigger these rerolls. Plus, we have to do some checks just to make sure that the same achievement doesn't get rerolled when it comes around, because that would kind of be silly. So yeah, it's going to happen, and it'll happen this month. So I guess if you're listening to this and you've got an achievement on your list, don't worry, you'll probably be able to get rid of it anyway.
Okay,
but don't make requests to me to re-roll, because that's not how it's going to work. There'll be a procedure. Stand by. Sorry, yes.
Oh, I was just going to ask you to re-roll a specific achievement. Apparently, I'm not allowed to do that. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Well, you're on staff. You can do it if you want. Another option as well is I've actually got a theory on how I can do DLC and title updates. And this will require a bit of work. It's not something that's going to happen this month, and it may not even happen at all. But my plan for that is potentially to have an extra pool, so you can opt in for an extra pool of 5 achievements, and those 5 achievements will be taken solely from DLC or title updates. The other caveat with that pool is that it is non-scoring. It will not add to your total score or your total achievements unlocked for the leaderboards. So it is purely just for fun, or just to give you a push on DLC or title updates to go for. So this kind of gets around a few issues with the ratios of those particular of DLC and title updates in particular. And it gets around the fact that basically I can't get any dev time from True Achievements at the moment to actually update our scanners. So, yeah, I've got a way I can do it. I want to keep the pool size on that small for logistical reasons. And, it would be non-scoring just because of the nature of title updates. So that's a maybe. And I think that's probably going to be pretty popular, because I know that DLC and title updates have been requested since the very first month of the RTDL.
I love that. Even if it's non-scoring, like I would be all opt in for that, because
me too.
It would, even if it's just for bragging rights. Like I mean, like you mentioned earlier, Tarragon, the RTDL isn't really that super hyper competitive, so it's not a huge deal for people just to be like, okay, that's fine, I will go for these extra 5 achievements. That would be awesome. I don't even know what we would do. Whatever you can do, I think go for it, because I think a lot of people would respond positively towards it.
I could imagine people would. No, I certainly know I would. Because I've got a whole DLC pool of stuff that I'd like to get on with. And the last thing that I've got in my list.
If it's kept separately from the main list, anyways, it's almost like a mini RTDL just for just for
Yes.
DLC stuff. And that's interesting because, there's not a lot of things kind of pushing you to do that. So that would be really cool. I would absolutely be down with that. I support this a bazillion %.
Okay. Yeah. So I've got some good ideas on how I could actually achieve it without having the API to pick the achievements. So yeah, that's it's definitely doable. It's just a matter of sorting it out. The last thing as well is that I'm considering basically just opening up access to the RTDL, even if your pool is not within the right thresholds. So currently we've got limits on pool size and the maximum score of your selected pool, or your selected list. What I'm proposing is that if your pool size is too low, I'll draw you a list anyway. It's just that you won't count on the leaderboard. So that way, people who are basically don't have enough available to get into the RTDL now can. It will give them something to play on, but they can't compete because it's not considered a fair list in that sense. Yeah. And the same thing would go for really high value ones. If I say what I'm currently doing at the moment is that I roll a list, and if it's under or over a certain amount, I re-roll it. What I can do there is if I do that, I do that like 5 times, and if I do it 5 times, then I give up and we'll try again the next time around. But basically, it's sort of I've tried to get you a list, but there's something in the way your pool is structured that it means that your list is too high or too low. But what I can do is, if it does that 5 times, I'll just take the one that was kind of closest, but it'll be a non-valid, non-scoring list, and it'll be flagged as such on the page. So that's just some thoughts. That one will take a bit of extra work to do, of course, as along with everything. But I think that'll be good for the sort of more, particularly the completionists, I would say.
That would really appeal to me, actually, because I think I'm at 90.8% completion. And I actually add games in that I haven't started, that I am going to start to get over the 1,000. I think I was 1,002. I'm a filthy curator, and I can't help it.
But I think that for people who aren't that interested in worrying about the leaderboard, but just want to use the RTDL as a prompt to go and complete things, that's probably the way to go, particularly for the very high completionists. And if you don't want to start new games, that's definitely the way to go. So that'll be coming. There's no timelines, no guarantees, etc. But that's all I've got on the RTDL.
These are awesome updates, and obviously thank you so much, Tarragon, for your work. But man, I'm thinking make them if you don't fit inside the levels, you're dark red, and everybody knows that you're a dirty person who doesn't deserve points. But you also get a list, and you can still work on it. That's cool. I think that fits very well. So. But seriously, thank you for all the work that you've done in the past, and now you've obviously added a whole bunch of new stuff this period, and hopefully going forward as well.
Yeah, well, RTDL is my baby, and it's a lot of fun. I've really had a lot of fun setting this up, and of course you have to give kudos to the original idea, which was to Facial Lafleur for the original random to-do list, and then he came to me. We did some work to get it actually automated, and that was sort of my initial flurry of how can we actually get this to scan and work and do the proper things. And then now with the API, which has made it even easier again. But it's a labour of love. I really enjoy working on the RTDL and making it tick over and making the spreadsheet look nice and all that sort of stuff. It's just cool. It's really gratifying that so many people really are so looking forward to their lists every month, and that they're always chatting about it or doing this and that and worrying about their full cool combos and that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
In fact, we have a whole separate channel on our Discord dedicated just to RTDL. So please join. And
that reminds me that one potentially controversial change I have for the RTDL. Because presently the RTDL is posting to the forum when there is an unlock, and it also is now posting or has been posting to this dedicated channel on the official ZZ Discord, right? By the way, if you happen to have your own Discord and you want the RTDL stuff pumped into that, just hit me up on Discord and we'll see if we can work something out, because I can basically publish to pretty much any webhook. So yeah, anyway, that's an aside. Controversial option is to basically get rid of the forum updates. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm not sure who actually reads those, or if it's really necessary to have them there, particularly as we've got a stream of that stuff in the Discord, and that's where most of the discussion happens around it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's not necessarily going to happen. I just want to hear from people what they think about that.
Yeah, if you're really dead set on, you're like, I only looked at the forums, let us know. Otherwise, I can imagine it's probably good to kind of let go of that. But let us know. Let us know. We'll do what we can to help our listeners. So, yeah, well, thank you so much, Tarragon. That's a lot of fantastic updates there. And the RTDL seems to only be getting better and better and better as time goes on. So, speaking of, and kind of circling back to what we've been playing, I played some RTDL stuff. I got an RTDL achievement last night in a game that just became backwards compatible, Battlefield 1943.
Okay.
God. Oh, I was getting really frustrated, right? So it was my lowest ratio RTDL achievement, and it was for getting a kill with a tank, a plane, and like a Jeep or something like that, like a regular car. And I really struggled with it. There seems to be a pretty active community now that it just recently went backwards compatible.
Yeah, of course.
So I couldn't cheese it. There was no way to make it easy. I actually had to get legitimate kills. And this game, okay, just throw everything you know out about conventional video game wisdom. You press left trigger for gas in this game. Left trigger for gas. How does that make any sense?
Who thought of that?
I don't know. It made me so upset that it was left trigger for gas. So I hop in.
That doesn't even make sense in pedals. It's like I was thinking, the left pedal for that's the clutch or the brake.
No. I hopped in a tank and I'm like, I'm ready to do this, and I just, you just assume you know the controls, because most controls are
maybe it's different in a tank, because they have like 6 pedals, don't they, for 4 directions?
But there's only 4 directions.
Yeah.
Yes, but same thing. Car, tank, plane, left trigger for go. There's no reverse, by the way. There's no way to go backwards, as far as I can tell.
I have a tip for you.
What?
I have a tip for you.
I'm ready. Don't play the game.
That as well, but no, I have a tip for you, and you probably don't even need this anymore. But if you go into your Xbox One, you can just remap that button.
Yes.
But that will make you not be insane. But on the other hand, then if you're shooting your gun, it will be the other way around. So that's annoying.
It would be weird, yeah. Fortunately, I got the achievement that I needed. I killed somebody in a tank. I killed someone in a plane. I killed someone in a car. But oh my God, that was the most mind-numbingly, frustratingly absurd thing. It's so weird to encounter something that is so contrary to what you're used to. Games generally tend to follow a sort of pattern.
I get this in any game where the look is forced to be inverted. It just throws me off so much.
No, that's the best way. Inverted is the best way.
Oh, boo.
Well, not getting into which one is, whichever one is right. The fact is, if you normally play with one and you can't switch to the one that you prefer, it really throws you off. Yeah.
There was a Men in Black game that was like that, I think. You couldn't turn it to inverted, so I'm just like, I can't play your game, sorry.
I used to play inverted. It was until I think the 360 that I just played it normal, I guess. But it's weird. It is very disorienting to go back. So
yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, I did. I got my Battlefield 1943 achievement. In fact, I got a bonus achievement. I don't know. I can't remember what it was for, but I was just in the game and the other one had popped up and I'm like, okay, whatever. Hopefully I never have to play this game again. So I got my one random to-do list achievement so far, but I'm only a day in, so that's fine. Been playing a ton of Minecraft, obviously, which is kind of my theme lately. Finished up Story Mode Season 2, the last version, which is on Xbox 360. Still playing the Android Windows 10 version and the Gear VR version. So I left I was playing, actually I showed my girlfriend the Gear VR. And I'm like, oh, check this out. This is cool. You can like look up and down and around, and you can pet the animals, and don't press right trigger or you're going to punch them. Don't do that. But you can press left trigger and feed the rabbit a carrot or whatever. And then I left the headset on my desk, and I woke up the next morning and I earned an achievement. Not just an achievement. I earned an achievement for like 250 TA. Oof. And it happened to be one of the new ones, which was surviving 3 days only eating kelp or something like that.
So you survived 3 days only eating nothing?
Yeah, it was the aquatic update achievement, and I'm like, okay, cool. So that worked. That was the thing. Yeah, so been doing a lot of Minecraft stuff. I did a few things for the last week's GTask challenge was for the whole alphabet. So I played some
the great True Achievements. True Achievements scoring challenge. Yep, the ongoing contest. Blah blah blah. Yep.
I got some of those done, and then today I play. Two other things. I played Diablo 3. With Proulx, which has been fantastic. I've got my hardcore character level 70. We beat the game. We've been running through. That's been a ton of fun. And today I played Monopoly Plus, the 360 version, and got 950 Gamerscore in it. I'm just missing the last achievement for, I don't know, landing on chance or community chest or something like that in getting some money. But so that's it. That's what I've been playing as well.
I have a funny story about the Monopoly Plus. As everyone would be aware who shops at GameStop or EB, if you buy a game, you can return it, no questions asked, in like 7 days or something, and you get a full refund. So a few years ago, I went and bought it and came home, and in about 40 minutes, I had all the achievements for it. Then I went back to the same shop, talked to the same guy the next day. And I said, look, mate, I need to return this. Gave him my receipt, and he just looked at me. I'm like, sorry, mate, it's causing too much problems with my family. I forgot what kind of game this was. And he just laughed and gave me my money back. And I thought, it's a pretty good cover story. But I didn't want to say, sorry, mate, I just got 1,000 Gamerscore. You can have it back now. It's really funny.
Was it EB Games? Because EB Games basically have a return policy, and you don't need a reason. You just go and just say, I want to return this. So, yeah.
I always feel guilty when I'm returning something, though, so I always try and make up a reasonable cover story, even though it's not warranted. But I thought I'd give him a laugh at the same time. He appreciated it.
Oh man, my son hated this game. I don't know why, but
I haven't used that one yet. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My Xbox broke. Just say that every time when you walk in. Yeah, my Xbox broke.
Or you got the Red Ring of Death. This is an Xbox One game. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was a PlayStation game. What the hell, man?
When you're in EB Games,
wouldn't start this.
When you're in EB Games and there's some kid's mum that's like, oh, my son wants Call of Duty. Do you have it? And you just facepalm so hard.
So, guys, let's move into news. I don't know if you saw this, but I did immediately. There was a Twitter on Twitter. Bethesda had a countdown, and they had their normal sort of Fallout vibe TV, cathode ray tube TV with, with their old school sort of, please wait here, and then it was please wait here, and we didn't know what was happening, but they finally revealed the trailer, and it seemed to be, to me at least, very Fallout 4 ish. So it kind of it revealed what this is called Fallout 76 is what it's called. Mm-hmm. It seemed to be. I initially thought it was a Fallout 4 spinoff. Not spinoff. That's not the right word. Fallout 4. I don't know what you would call it. But a Fallout 4 based game certainly a lot of the same assets had been being used in this trailer. It clearly also takes place in Virginia, where I am. Hi, guys. That's cool. Hey, I'm there. Hey, hi. Yes. So Fallout 76 is a new game coming out. And there's lots of rumors flying around. And I don't know if anybody here is as interested in a new Fallout game as I am. I don't think Randy is. But Tarragon or Pluto, are you guys Fallout fans at all? Or?
I have heard good things about it, yet never played it. It's one of those sort of things. So no, haven't really played haven't played any Fallout beyond diving it.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Fallout 3 PC.
I
played that one too.
Yeah, I played the completion of that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I've heard good things. I own Fallout 3 and New Vegas 4. I heard it was kind of mediocre, but yeah, it's one of those things just like Mass Effect that it's so big that I want to finish up all these other little smaller things that I'm working on before I take on one of those, and then it ends up just never happening because all these other things take a long time. But yeah, we'll see.
For the same reason that I haven't played, Skyrim or Oblivion, I have no doubt that Fallout, I would have such a great time playing it. But it's one of those games that you can lose hundreds of hours in, and
for sure,
still not be done. And
I tend to have a policy to only keep one really, really, really long game like that on the go at a time because it's just too unwieldy otherwise. And that's not including Elite Dangerous. So,
yeah, no, I mean, I love the Fallout series. Although I love Fallout 3, New Vegas, I didn't care too much for. Fallout 4 was awesome. Even the Shelter, I enjoyed. But yeah, so whatever, what it is, what it is. The biggest thing here is that they didn't announce the Elder Scrolls, the new Elder Scrolls, whatever it is. And certainly we are going to get one of them at E3, but so I'm ready for that. But clearly you guys you're not into it. You're not into any of these games. They're too long.
It'll be great for gamers, the people that are a lot more casual than us that play, one or two games a year. They buy their Call of Duty and they buy their Elder Scrolls when it comes out. I'm sure coming from Bethesda, even though it won't work at launch, once they patch it, it'll be a fantastic game.
Do you know what will work right away? And do you know what these filthy casuals are playing? They're playing PUBG and they're playing Fortnite. And PUBG is not very happy with Epic. So they're suing them. They say, hey, what the heck? We are the first people to ever come up with this idea of a bunch of people running into a circle at once and killing all the other people. We own that, and you guys are dirty, dirty, terrible people. This is interesting because PUBG feels to me like it's grasping at this point. It's desperate because it's absolutely – Fortnite is crushing PUBG. It's in a weird sort of reversal of what you kind of expected to happen. Fortnite is crushing PUBG, so they're really kind of lashing out.
It helps that Fortnite is free to play.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I mean, I think this is suicide for PUBG. They're suing them over something that they have no they're basically suing them because they're in the same genre and they mentioned them in a news post once because they use the Unreal Engine or something. That is so there's no way that they're going to win that. And not to mention, Epic is a gigantic company with way more money than PUBG, which also puts them at an advantage. No, buy PUBG.
What are they actually suing them for? Copyright or what I
think it was copyright. Or something like that, IP infringement or something like that.
Do you remember it feels like a year ago now, and maybe it was, or a little more than that. They wrote a strongly worded letter at them and was like, hey guys, cut it out. And Yeah, it's so weird. Violating the studio's copyright with Fortnite's battle rate. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Particularly its interface and in-game items.
Okay. It's interesting because it's so... Everything is a copy of everything at the moment. Like... Yeah. How do you prove that?
Yeah, I read this isn't the first time that PUBG have been suing someone. They actually sued another company that produced a mobile clone, essentially, of PUBG. And reading through that particular argument and all of the things that they put forward as a case of this is basically directly ripping off our game, I could actually see their point, because really they were. It's like even the map was extremely similar in how it was laid out, the mechanics of how you get into the match, all of the things that go within it. Some of the items were almost nearly identical. There's a lot there. Fortnite's, I think, is a little different just because the way the game works itself is a bit different.
And the building as well.
Yeah, so it's got the building and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like Fortnite, you could say, is an iteration on a theme. And the funny thing is, I'm not really sure if the Battle Royale mode just appeared in response to PUBG existing, or whether it was already being worked on independently. And I guess that's what something Fortnite or Epic will be able to sort of show, is if they were working on this kind of thing independently of PUBG anyway, like before PUBG was even a thing, PUBG have no grounds. If there's sort of in response to, then perhaps, but even then, nobody can really license a game mechanic. You don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. It doesn't really matter if Doom licensed Deathmatch.
I was just gonna say Doom and Deathmatch, because everything is an exact copy of Deathmatch. You have a gun and you run around and you kill each other.
So that's the thing. I don't know that we don't really see patents for game types. And
if we did, that would be a very dangerous precedent, because that would effectively mean there was one game in any genre and that's it.
And that's it for 7 years until the patent expires. It's
and then they'll renew it 18,000 times, because
that's
what happens.
Can't renew patents like that. I don't think you can renew copyrights. Copyrights have a much longer lifespan. Patents are
you normally can't. But at least in the U.S., they find ways around it.
I think you might be able to do it once. I'm thinking more of
something.
I'm thinking more in the medical area with drugs, for example. They have patents which then run out, which is just an exclusive license to produce X drug for X amount of time before the generics come out.
But think about it. Think about it in terms of any other type of entertainment. If I patented superhero movies, or hip hop music, or it's weird to say that I own this. I now own this genre. I'm going
to patent the triplet feel of hip hop music, and everybody else has to pay me royalties from now on.
We don't want that.
If I let them have the privilege to pay me royalties, because I own the rights to that. I think. I don't know. It's even with that other case like you were talking about before, where they sued that clone. It's like I find that hard. Even though obviously that sounds like it was a much more clear cut case. It's kind of hard unless they're taking characters and models directly from PUBG. I find that hard to agree with, even if it is just a total ripoff.
Well, that's what mobile apps do. They just copy everything. I mean, once Flappy Bird came out, there was all these different clones of Flappy Bird on the App Store. And it's every ad I see for a mobile app is like, come play Battle Royale Fortnite. And you're like, you put the words in a different order. It's slightly different to avoid copyright infringement.
Well, I mean, with the app stores too, there is a lot of actual copyright infringement, like bootleg kind of games too. Like Spider-Man models and weird. There are some really weird. If I had all the time in the world, I would love to do a whole show just about the bizarre apps that are in the apps, in the Google Play Store.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, to me, it's
so weird. So much weird stuff in there.
Think of something that was an industry leader. This feels to me like the first Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, suing, Battlefield for doing the same sort of thing. And it would feel cheap then, and it feels cheap now. And even if they succeed, I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot. I'm not actually sure what their goal is here because it's too late. Fortnite is already late. It's already run all over PUBG's. It's peed in their cereal. It's too late. Like, even if they won something in court, it doesn't matter because.
And it's not like they're going to take down Epic.
Exactly.
Like, okay, Epic loses Fortnite Battle Royale. Cool. They still make the Unreal Engine and collect a ton of royalties from everybody, and then they'll just make a new game.
But then if they win, what does it mean for Call of Duty Black Ops 4? I think is having a Battle Royale mode. The Battlefield 5 has been teased. Apparently, it's not coming, but there's rumors of that. And what does it mean for them going forward? You can't put a Battle Royale mode in a game.
And what does it mean for the next deathmatch? Like, I mean, not deathmatch in deathmatch, but the next, thing like that. Like you had deathmatch that revolutionized multiplayer. You had, this currently Battle Royale. Like what happened?
Yeah, so all of that stuff aside, I think there is one key thing here. So I just want to note, Epic. I think Epic own the Unreal Engine, right?
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and PUBG used the Unreal Engine, right?
Yes, it did. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So PUBG thus would be working with Epic on their game in partnership in order to get the Unreal Engine to do what they needed to do in PUBG. And because they're doing PUBG and paying licenses for the Unreal Engine, Epic are therefore aware and probably know what PUBG was about, and probably well before it actually became a thing. So you could argue, and I think this maybe is what they're trying to argue, is that information was able to get from back through the licensing chain, back into Epic somewhere, and then fed into the Fortnite's development stream. And so essentially the idea was stolen from them before it even got out into the public. And that's pretty crummy behavior, if that's true. It's just throwing it out there.
That cannot be the case, though. I don't think that's true. I mean, it's like saying, because this company, say Company X, say Paramount, was using IMAX technology it wouldn't be Paramount for Star Wars, but say Disney was using their IMAX technology for the new Star Wars, and then somebody else that Disney owned, Marvel, was using IMAX technology for their next Iron Man movie that they're copying. No, that's not how it works. I don't know.
But let me expand that particular argument. Let's say that Disney are using IMAX for their whatever, and whoever owns, let's say Paramount owns IMAX, and you've got Disney, right? Let's say that Disney are doing another Star Wars movie, and they have a certain plot feature which is brand new, and it's just something that's new to the Star Wars sort of genre, right? Hasn't been told to anyone, completely secret. They have a problem with their IMAX stuff, and they're talking back and forth with IMAX to get this particular scene to work properly, right? So therefore, people at IMAX know about this particular story. Then suddenly, Paramount comes out with another movie which happens to feature that plot point. Wouldn't you be a little bit pissed off?
If they were the first person to ever think of that concept. But Battle Royale has been a thing in video games for years and years and years and years and years and years. So that's...
And then it was in a book before it was in video games.
It's flimsy at best.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate there, because it seems that's fair. Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the most viable argument that is around currently, but I think they're going to have a tough case.
Yeah, it feels desperate. I mean, you don't do this. This is lashing out. This is I don't know what else to do. I'm no longer number one. But it doesn't sue them. At this point, it doesn't matter. If they sue PUBG even successfully, I mean, it's going to be years before that even comes out.
Sue Fortnite, but yeah.
Fortnite. You're right. It doesn't matter because Fortnite is now number one in the eye of the public. It doesn't matter anymore. It's over. The battle has already been lost.
Well, and I feel like it doesn't help too that like PUBG grew so quickly with a kind of a newer company that it just couldn't keep up, where Epic is so established that they could handle the traffic. They can make those updates come out faster and smoother and not have to deal with, effectively exploding and becoming one of the most popular games current or the most popular game at the time while it's still in early access. And yeah, and like you said, it's like they couldn't keep up with it. Epic outdid them, and then now they're desperate and sue them.
And Epic's game just actually works as well. Yeah. Very, very well.
Yeah.
I guess that's
especially on Xbox.
I guess that's the other thing as well, is that PUBG is still a pre-release game and is still pretty broken in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's it doesn't help their case. Basically, Fortnite came along with a more experienced team by the sound of it and just did it better. So yeah. So, unfortunate. I can see why they're a bit annoyed, but yeah, they've kind of had their spot in the sun, I guess, when it gets right down.
Yeah, I mean, take your money. They still got their
bucket loads of money. Yeah,
infinite money.
Yeah, they fumbled. I mean, I think that's the case. They fumbled. They had the lead. They had the customer goodwill. They had everything that you could want.
And I can't imagine.
And suing another company about that sort of stuff is not really going to increase customer goodwill for either, and they'll probably lose. So yeah.
And I would assume, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would assume that this is probably like a Rock Band Guitar Hero situation where your customer base probably has some overlap.
Oh, for sure.
And and it was like, I remember when, I mean, this was after it came out, but when I was looking into the game Power Gig, I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a terrible attempt at a Rock Band clone. Yep. But what they did is they had like attack ads on like Guitar Hero and Rock Band of them like smashing guitars and stuff. It's like, you guys really don't know what you're doing, do you? Like, you're insulting your potential user base, because there's no war between Guitar Hero and Rock Band. It's like everybody that plays one plays both, or at least has no negative opinion toward the other one. Like, it's not like a PS4 Xbox deal, like, or PC console deal. Like, there's no warring going on there, and you trying to make that happen is really only hurting you. I mean, I think it was also a terrible game, but
I will say though, and unfortunately for us as Xbox fans, it seems that Microsoft backed the wrong horse in this fight, much like they did.
Although it did look like the right one.
It did look. No, I don't fault them for it. There's no way that they could have seen this coming, but yeah, tough on Microsoft. Like, sucks because they seem to. But anyways, it is what it is, and
moving on.
I guess we'll see what happens. Hey, Tarragon, you talked last week a bit about Assassin's Creed. There's a new one coming out. Are you surprised? Are you excited? What is this?
Not surprised. I've heard a little bit about this. This was the Greece one, wasn't it? Odyssey. But I think that's about all I've heard about it. But Greece, man, what a place to go to. There's so much rich mythology there that they can lean into, and just history. So yeah, that'll be good. I think if they have the same kind of treatment that they did with Origins, I can see that being a very good game. But I guess we shall wait and see, because they have a habit of also fumbling. So it depends how quickly they're going to bring it out. If they're trying to rush it, if they don't rush it, it'll be good. If they rush it again or start rushing it again, then it'll be bad. But we'll see.
So we're getting
see what the trailer looks like at E3. If it's all cinematic footage,
then they're not rushing it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Or it's on the Lie engine. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So what does the Lie engine say?
Yeah, we're in a really interesting position where it seems like people are rushing to announce stuff before the flood of E3.
Well, that happens every E3. It's like the last 2 or 3 E3s. It's been basically like 70 or 80% of the stuff that's going to be coming out before E3 even starts. It's just silly. It's good. I suppose it's good for the people who are actually at E3. They still get to have that kind of excitement and feel, and that's kind of a limited base of people who can do that. But yeah, it's good for the people not at E3, I should say. But yeah, anyway, I'm not really buying into the hype. I kind of just wait for all the news to do its flood, and then I'll pick up the pieces afterward.
Leaky E3 pipes.
Yeah, I hear Crackdown 3 is coming out next month, so that's
really
very exciting.
Wait. No. That's not possible, because on my E3 bingo card, I put on Crackdown 3 is officially confirmed as vaporware.
No way. It's going to be there.
No, it's not.
Officially confirmed as an April Fool's joke that went on too long.
Did you guys see the news that I think it was Amazon Spain, I want to say, that canceled all of...
Yeah, that was debunked.
Yes.
But
all of their crackdown
but apparently, according to Spanish locals who chimed in on that particular report, it's actually not uncommon for Amazon Spain to screw things up like that. They just often cancel stuff and do weird stuff. So that's actually pretty normal.
At the same time, though, I think there have been a few like early leaks like that came out of Spain because they just...
Because
they didn't get the memo that they weren't supposed to push it.
Yep. Same thing. But yeah, the cancellation was not a thing.
But yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I did start my E3 bingo card. I almost finished it and I lost it. I deleted the document, it appears.
Womp womp.
So
Whoops.
Was gonna drop a few spoilers on that today, but
yeah, so we'll see. E3 is, I won't be around next week, but it is like the 12th, I think, right? Something like that. 11th, 12th, something, I think.
It's like 2 weeks.
It's coming soon, so we should all be expecting.
Tuesday week, so it'll be within when the podcast drops. It'll be, not far away at all.
No. All right, so
expecting large storms from me. Storm season.
So let's finish out here, guys. On we got some feedback, and actually, what I got was a feedback slash.
Oh, sorry, just one last thing. There was on the E3 hype train thing. I saw a tweet. There's a particular account I watch that just has some really sort of sarcastic, narky tweets, and this one said. The latest Battle Royale game has been revealed at E3. It starts with 100 unannounced games, and the winner is the only one that is not leaked before the event.
Is that ex-CEO
Sony
CEO fake account? Yeah, I love that account.
That's funny. So we have a bit of a crossover here between news and feedback. Beast Middle, he wanted me specifically to bring up the what happened to Bungie. Bungie is apparently getting $100 million. By the way,
$1 million. Sorry.
Yes, I'm going to stop, and just so everybody understands how much money that is, $100 million to produce a non-Destiny IP.
Okay.
I would not give Bungie $10 at this point. I'm not sure I would give them $1, but okay. Good luck. Have fun. Maybe
it's the next version of it's kind of like an MMORPG battle royale game.
That's in a persistent kind of open world with not a lot of things in it.
Yeah.
The thing is, Destiny was
and a really deep story that you can only read on websites.
on the website. So Destiny was pretty successful, I'd say, and then Destiny 2 has not been so successful. Why are people giving Bungie money at this point? Sorry, Bungie, and you don't deserve it.
I don't know. Like, the other thing too is $100 million is a lot of money, but if it's a AAA like Destiny level game, I think that sounds like not a lot.
Well,
do you remember when this first broke? Like when Destiny was first the thing, and it was like, oh man, like when Activision first got a hold of Bungie, people were like, well, why? And they were like, it cost this much money, and then like Destiny was going to be the big thing for the next 10 years, and then it came out and it wasn't. So I don't know. It does seem weird to me to follow that up with, let's pay a lot of money for the next thing that these people who failed to deliver on the next big thing did.
I guess the other side of that coin is that they did Destiny 1, they did Destiny 2. Destiny 2 didn't perform as well as they'd hoped, so that kind of puts a pin in Destiny 3 happening, so it's not going to happen. Okay, we'll pitch a new idea, or maybe they've had another idea brewing. They've made the pitch, they've been accepted for the pitch, they've been funded for $100 million to do that, so that's just the next game. What that game is, we don't know. All we know is it's not Destiny, so It just seems like a standard thing. They're still a AAA studio. They're still quite capable of bringing out games of that caliber, regardless of our criticisms. The fact is that they produce games that are extremely playable and do exactly what they say on the tin in a lot of the cases, and are highly polished titles. So, regardless of your criticisms of Destiny or Bungie in general, I mean, they're still a major studio, and they will do something with that money.
How the mighty have fallen. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's you have good points, Tarragon. I don't disagree with you. But okay, so let's see here. What else do we want to talk about? Wall Runner Ninja, and this is for you, Randy, specifically.
Okay.
He wants to know your opinion on Dark Souls Remaster. He says he thinks the achievement list will be a copy and paste of the 360 version, but do you want them to do something different?
Well, it was a copy and paste of the 360 version, including not requiring you to collect the DLC items for the complete everything achievements. I don't know. I mean, Dark Souls achievement list was fine. It made you pretty much do everything, which is good in an achievement list. I mean, some of it was annoying because it required an extra half playthrough or two. I don't remember how many Titanite slabs you needed, but a few playthroughs. But I mean, that's kind of the name of the game, is you want to do New Game Plus. Maybe it would have been nice if they included some DLC achievements, because the what was originally DLC was included in the game. And I don't know, my thoughts on it is, I think it came out at a fair price. Apparently it had a lot of quality of life improvements, like playing with other players, which it really needed. That was probably the biggest flaw in the game, was the way matching up online worked, or more likely didn't work. I think the PC version, from what I saw, still had some matchmaking issues, but they were maybe not. Maybe I was confusing that. I didn't look too closely, but I mean, I'll get another Dark Souls stack. I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm glad it didn't come out at $60. I think, if they polished up the graphics, fixed some stuff, and I don't have a problem with it. Especially, it includes everything, $40. If you've never played Dark Souls, it seems like a good entry point.
Have you got all the stacks?
Not remastered, but I've done Dark Souls on 360 and PC. Mm-hmm. But I haven't played 2 yet. I haven't played 3 yet. You
also haven't done them at Proulx's house yet. So maybe you should work on those stacks next.
I did actually do it again for someone. So I've done it 3 times. Nice. Yeah, it takes me... The last run I did, I think, took me like 22 hours or something for all the achievements. But I think I passed myself weapons, which saves a lot of time. You can invade your, have 2 accounts, obviously, and then invade yourself, and then have the invader drop all the weapons, and then have the host pick them up. And then, it just checks that you have that in your inventory. So, you pick up a fully upgraded crystal weapon and that achievement pops. You have a fully upgraded lightning weapon and that achievement pops. So you can just, get a whole bunch right back to back. I can't remember if I did that, though. I may not have. And yeah, I mean, I'll get it at some point. It's probably going to be a while before I get to it, so I'll wait for a physical sale and pick it up.
Yeah,
probably.
I may pick it up and not play it like all the other copies.
Yeah. I actually just put a bunch of games that this was a few months ago now, but I don't know if any of you guys saw the Square Enix sale they had on their physical store, where they had a whole ton of games that were like $2, brand new. Like $2, $3, $4, like collector's editions for like $6. Crazy blowout sale. So I bought a whole bunch of stuff from them. The shipping was kind of pricey, but it still worked out to like $4 a game or something, or like $5 a game.
Can I just speaking of shipping, frickin' Amazon Amazon are at war with the Australian government and saying basically they're essentially going to block access to the US site and not ship to Australia at all because of an introduction of our tax laws, which are stupid tax laws, mind you. But that's going to piss off a lot of Australians, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, because they order games from
anything, books, all that sort of stuff. But speaking of which, I might need some shipping from some friends in the US.
Just let me know. Yep. I live real close to the post office. No big deal.
Yeah, you sorted me out for that capture card a few months back.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good. Thanks again for that.
Good stuff. Yeah, your U.S. shipping hub right here. Randy's house.
So I hear there's a game you guys want to talk about.
Yeah,
sort of, yes, sort of, no.
You guys are getting me so I don't get excited about many games. I mean, you guys are getting me real excited about
excuse
this.
me, Randy, if there's a game, you should not say the word, I'm getting excited about this game. It's this game.
And, I've read the reviews. They are terrible. And, I mean, terrible as in not positive reviews of this game. They're
the reviews
not
are good.
In favor.
The game is terrible.
Yes. TA gave it 0.5 out of 5.
Wow, that's generous by the sound of
it. The official site review.
Let me just read the opening paragraph for this. So the game is called Agony. So it's meant to be set in hell. Still not sure what the point of the game is because, you're in hell and you go and do stuff. The trailers have been quite vague, but it's interesting. I've been following it for a while because in Australia, things get censored a lot and we get a lot of games knocked back. Outlast 2, I think, was the most recent one I can think of, but a Hotline Miami game recently got banned as well. I think this game kind of deserves it, but I will just read the opening paragraph to touch on what Randy has said here. So it's by Mark Delaney on the True Achievements website. Typically, I like to start a review with some anecdote that relates to the game or its assessment that follows. In the case of Agony, there's nowhere to really begin. It stands on its own as the most remarkably broken game I've ever played across all generations of Xbox and maybe beyond. That would hold a lot more weight if you knew Mark Delaney had played Ride to Hell Retribution. I don't know if he has, but if it's worse than that, that is bad. There's no reason this game should have ever been released in this manner. And the fact it was cast great doubt on the game certification process. Wherever you thought the bottom was for how poorly a game could play at launch, Agony finds a new bottom. It's actually quite fitting for a game all about hell to feel like you're actually stuck there when you try to play this.
So
the Agony is actually playing the game, right? Got it.
Yes,
it's actually a hell simulator. It's a new kind of immersion. Clearly, the review just didn't get it.
So it's a hell simulator, which actually also simulates the hell of playing a broken game. Yeah, it works on so many levels. It's like breaking the fourth wall.
I mean, it's like a 4D. It's like a 4D game. I mean, like you're playing the game, but it's physically torturing you in the real world at the same time. But so we talked about this. We took a little break mid-recording, and we kind of brought this up and had a little discussion of what we're going to talk about. And so, talking about, this sounds like a game for me. Of course, absolutely. This sounds exactly like the game I want to play.
In the sense that you like broken games, possibly not necessarily the content of the game.
Yeah.
And the content of the game is the controversial and...
Yeah. And we'll get to that. But so we were looking and you mentioned that I should get an unpatched version on disc, and I was like, and we look, oh yeah, physical and digital. So I just looked it up. Yes, it is in fact physical. And so this also has a price point of $40, which seems crazy. But how did this...
That's a bargain.
So this is this is... Oh, never mind. It's not. I thought it was developed and published by the same studio, but game developers try super hard to get physical games published on Xbox. How did this game possibly get published on disc? Sorry, how did this game in this state possibly get published on disc? A publisher said, Maximum Games said, yes, we are going to press these discs and sell this game. in this state.
Probably because they were probably promised a day one patch.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, that's my bit. We can get on to the other bits.
Yeah. I think this is they've basically released a video of the stuff that they've cut in order to get the mature rating. Now, you can have ideas for games and for content and for things that you can do, and sometimes it's just not a good idea to follow through with those ideas, if you know what I mean. It's like having the idea is fine, but you don't have to do them. And things like this is essentially the stuff that's been cut out includes like actual scenes, like it's essentially graphic sex. So genital penetration, a couple of seconds of butt physics. Apparently, it's one of the descriptions of this. I don't know what that means, but there are rape scenes, like full-on rape scenes, fetal mutilation, infanticide, actual look of a succubus giving birth to a demon baby through a mutilated vagina, which just sounds really charming. This is all the stuff that's been kind of stripped from this game. So I'm kind of glad that stuff's not in it, but the fact that it was even created in the first place just kind of makes me think, well, wow. Yeah, I don't know. There are just some things that are just not good ideas, and it's like, yeah. No.
It makes me wonder about the people that have to make this game as well, because they'd be sitting there and drawing this, coding this, and creating it. It's like, it's one thing to sit there and, play a game for 5 or 10 minutes and go, oh, okay, I don't really like this. But if it's your job to make this game, like it does make me worry for what those people see on a daily basis.
Imagine take that, all of those kind of concepts. Imagine if that was done on film. It would be it's extreme. All of that's extreme, and it would be extreme in any context. I think the only sort of context where I think that's fine, really, is generally if it's in a book form. People writing something down, that's not actively making something much more real with a picture and moving graphics and sound. So that's just I don't know. I'm all for free speech and free expression, but there are just some ideas that are just not good ideas. Like another idea that just shouldn't have been made was the school shooter game that was released very shortly after the recent Texas shooting and the other one. And
there's been a few of those.
Yeah, and it's just like, just because you have an idea doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Tarragon.
Yeah.
As an American, there's no problem here.
Of course,
no problem.
Yeah, let's
don't even worry about it.
Let's not get into that.
We're all doing everything. We're just fine here.
Did you know?
Don't you worry about it.
Australia had its first mass shooting in about when was the last one? When was
Port Arthur? Wasn't it?
Yeah, when was Port Arthur?
94, 93, something like that.
We've just had our first mass shooting, as a shooting of more than sort of 3 people, in 25 years or something, almost.
Yeah.
So
it's really interesting, and not to get too political, obviously, because that's not the goal of the show here, but to talk about offensive things in games in general, and then to bring it specifically to to recent events. But I don't get offended about things in games. It doesn't bother me. Like, fine, there are people that have to do this. If you're not the director and it's not your baby and you're doing things that could be considered offensive, that's not fantastic. But it's an expression. It's like you mentioned. It is something that you want to do.
Yeah, there's expression, but I think this is just gratuitous. I think they've probably already managed to capture the idea of hell. I don't think they really needed all of that other stuff to capture that, and obviously they didn't think so either because they cut it. Another thing that kind of bugs me a bit, I guess, is gratuitous use of just women and their bodies in particular. There was a recent case, PUBG. Let's get back to PUBG again. On their test servers, they basically released a character model that had a camel toe. And it's like, really, guys?
I saw that.
Why even do that?
Really?
Why
would you do that? Like, what are you trying... Yeah, it's just... Somebody had that idea and did that. Why? Why did you follow through?
Well, just to kind of circle back on that idea, I think, it's been being done for ages. Like I suspect that Agony's developers have deliberately ridden the train of controversy the same way that Hatred did. Was a few years ago, and for a movie like a Serbian film, like I love watching horror films. I think you were saying that last week. You love watching horror films.
Yeah.
We should have a discussion about that at some point. But for me, there's a line, and
there's horror, and there's a kind of a classification of that called torture porn, and I'm not really.
Yeah.
I probably the most
there's a difference. There's
famous
a big
example
difference,
of that would be, say, Saw. Which is probably the most well-known. That is pretty much in the torture porn category. But in comparing that to some of the stuff that is out there, that is actually kind of the tamer end of it. There are much more extreme versions, and there's a certain point where I just get to the point of like, this is not really entertaining. It's just gratuitous and doesn't really ultimately you watch a movie because you want to have an experience and usually be drawn through a story. Those things are just more an experience in how to traumatize you or test how
extreme you are,
or just to test how desensitized you are, I guess. And I don't really want to watch movies or see video content for that reason.
Well, it's a really interesting concept, and people have written books and thesis on this sort of stuff before. And I'm not going to say anything that's not new that people haven't heard before. But clearly, you take cinema, and this sort of stuff is explored all the time in movies. Where is the boundary, and where are people comfortable going?
Succubus is giving birth to demon babies through mutilated vaginas doesn't really happen in the movies that often, I would say.
Yeah, you say that. You say that.
Even rape scenes are actually not as common as you would think, and in fact, in Australia at least, there are very major restrictions around what kind of things can be shown with those.
And that's the point. Like, is that censorship good or is it not? And I agree with you. Like, I don't want to see that stuff. But how far do you go in sort of the expression of the artistry there? I don't know. Like, there's a lot of
there is a line, but there's community standards. Like, there's the basic community standards, which drives most of the sort of G rating, I would say, with M being kind of a bit higher than that. It's something that you may find a little bit pushing your boundaries. I think most people are going to be generally okay with a sort of M rating level of content, and above that, when you're getting into R, you're accepting that what you are seeing is outside of the boundaries of what you would normally sort of see, and it's something that's going to be pushing your boundaries a lot. And that's perfectly fine and acceptable if it's rated correctly. But then you're getting to things that are actually quite likely to traumatize you. So, for example, this is going back a little while, but there was a guy who decided to murder someone. He videoed it. He basically murdered this guy, cut him up, had sex with the corpse, and all of this stuff. And he put it onto YouTube. And that YouTube video got a lot of watches, obviously, but there was a lot of reaction videos to this thing. And just seeing you can actually just see this person being traumatized as they're watching this thing, and that person's going to be having that particular image that they were seeing right now, living with them for many years to come. They may not even get over it. There are some things that you can see that will actually impact your life in a negative way for a long time. But not everybody's going to be affected that way. Not everybody's going to have that kind of trauma, but there are some things that will traumatize a lot of people. And that's where I think you have to draw the limits. Is like, well, okay, I don't really want to see a baby murdered and split up into body parts and then raped. I don't want to see that. That's not something that's going to... I can't see any kind of story or any kind of video content or something that's going to make that okay. I don't need to see that. It could happen off screen or be suggested, perhaps, if it was relevant to the story. But I don't need to see that in order to know that's bad. and I don't. If I saw it, I'd probably be pretty traumatized. So it's kind of like, yeah, There's limits.
I get it. There are lines that I can't and shouldn't aren't the words I'm looking for, but that people don't want to go past, and I don't know. I think in cinema those lines have been drawn pretty. They're pretty established at this point.
Yeah,
games are newer, and I'm not excusing people. Don't get me wrong, but I think there are people that will naturally explore those boundaries. I don't know anything about this game, so I'm not excusing this game for doing anything terrible or heinous. Just that something for its own sake isn't good. Like you mentioned, Tarragon, it's just to do it isn't a good thing. But if there's, it's tough to say. But there are boundaries.
There are boundaries, and it actually makes me think of one particular case. Everybody knows or has heard of the Two Girls One Cup.
Sure.
Shock video, right? Everybody knows what the content of that is, basically. Or if don't actually go chasing it, it's not worth it.
No.
The guy who made that actually got sent to jail for it. Believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He got sued on. He got charged on. What's the word? It's like the offensiveness law or something. I forget what it's actually called. But yeah, he did get charged. He did go to jail. So yeah, it's just interesting. And a few characters, well-known characters of that ilk of some of those other particular things, are also have gone to jail or been charged. So yeah, context.
It kind of brings up another thing as well. Like a lot of I see when I go to EB Games or JB Hi-Fi, which I don't think JB Hi-Fi is in America, but it's like an electrical retailer store. But when you go in there and you see the mums and dads buying the new Call of Duty for their kids who might be 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old, and in Australia, since we got an R rating, that now Call of Duty and I think Battlefield get an R rating, so you have to be 18 to purchase the game. So their parents are buying those games for their children who might just have finished primary school.
Oof.
Because their friends are playing it, and it's like it makes me feel. It worries me because
it kind of worries me that a parent might buy agony for their kid.
That's exactly where I was going with it. I remember I sold a lot of my games on eBay secondhand. I bought Dead Island Riptide. And regardless of what you think about how good or not that game was, I'd sold it on eBay to this woman. She came and collected it. And she was, maybe 35. And I thought, how old is your kid? Because she told me she was buying it for her son. And it made me feel quite uneasy. So it makes me think about that kind of aspect. You have the people that work in EB Games or GameStop or whatever. I wonder what restrictions are put upon them. Like if they come in, there's a line out the door and mum comes up with agony and goes, oh, my son wants to play this. You go, do you realise what is in this game? Like they said the same thing about Grand Theft Auto 3 where you can hot coffee mod it. Or was it Vice City or San Andreas?
That was San Andreas, yeah. I was actually going to bring that up too, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah, but there's some things that kids shouldn't get a hold of. And that's, again, a different line. But it makes me wonder what kind of restrictions are on there because it's obviously correlated to what targets they would have to sell games. So can they refuse to sell a game to a parent because their kid is underage and that's who they're buying it for? I don't know what the answer is to that question, but do go on about Grand Theft Auto, Randy.
Well, the other thing too is like these things change over time. I mean, hot coffee was a huge controversy.
Yeah,
and the thing is, like, that wasn't something you could access normally. Like that was something you had to seriously dig and research and
So dumb. It was so stupid.
Yeah,
it's like,
and like you had to do so much to access that, because this was code that was cut from the game. It was still in the game's code, but it wasn't accessible, so you had to modify the game to access it. And it was, if I remember correctly, it was like a fully clothed sex mini game or something.
Yep, fully clothed.
And that was just like looked just goofy, and like it was, because it was totally unfinished. This was something they'd cut ages ago, and they had to recall that game.
I think it actually got banned in Australia after news of the hot coffee mod came out.
And then a revised version was released without it.
Yeah, that was the same in North America too. So
which is really silly, because that the 360, like I think it was the 360 version at the time, or whatever, the console version also had to have that done as well, even though you couldn't really patch it.
I think you could. I think if you used Game Shark, because those were still a thing.
Oh, yes.
I believe you could access it with a Game Shark.
Also remember that this was the case that this was Grand Theft Auto, and where you could literally pick up prostitutes and take their money and run them over with your car. This was the most offensive thing. A sex minigame was the most
that you had to it's
essentially
super killing around to access.
Yeah, killing people who probably deserved it anyway. That's fine, but no sex here.
No.
So in North America there were two options. The retailers could put an adults only sticker on the case for the rating from the ESRB, or recall them and then get new copies. And it's basically the policy of every retailer in North America that they will not sell an adults only game. Period.
Well, Walmart in particular, but
they were all pulled.
It's a death sentence in America, isn't it? AA rating.
Completely. That's why I don't think there are any games that I don't think there's ever been a game you can buy like at a store that had an AO rating. There are 10 or 15 that actually officially have it.
Yeah, we actually have an X rating in Australia, just not for games.
Yeah,
and I very much doubt that even if we had an X rating for games, any game would ever actually come out with it.
It kind of does make me wonder. I've wondered this for a long time, actually. In games, I feel like the next. I'm not sure about the next thing, but I wonder when it's going to come along that you have like an actual relationship with someone, and it's kind of hard to articulate what I'm meaning, but it's like Mass Effect is one that comes to mind. Like you can have your relationships with the men or the women, or whatever your prerogative is, but everything's kind of shown off screen, I think, to some degree. It's it makes me wonder, like you spend over a Mass Effect series, hundreds of hours with these characters.
Oh, but Mass Effect 1 made the sex box. That was like big controversy at the time.
Yeah, I remember that controversy.
That was on Fox, yeah. It's actually a really interesting, we're kind of going into a really neat and interesting place, because it's weird because there is no actual... So we talk about hot coffee, right? And that's the most adult that you're allowed to go. And that was already banned. That was already banned.
So I guess my point is that I kind of forgot to get to is I think if hot coffee happened today, that wouldn't have happened.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so. I think it would have been fine. There would have been no recalls, maybe some controversy on Fox News, but really, like, you had to mod the game to make this work. It's like so what are we going to give Fallout an adults only rating because somebody made some mod for it that you can choose to
remember,
put in?
This is GTA where you can kill people and curb stomp them on the side of the road. Remember, and that's kind of that's an aside and sort of a whole other issue is like violence versus sex issue, which is a big issue. I mean, it's like crazy, but it's so weird to think that people got so hung up about what was his name? CJ? I think CJ was his name.
CJ, yeah.
Literally, I don't want to say the words. enjoying himself with his shorts on or his pants on with with somebody. It's so weird that people get so hung up about that sort of thing,
Yeah, it's we could go on for hours about this topic.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. Like, I think where is it going to go? Like, I look at this Agony game and it's like, I wonder where the line is for me. This is past the line for me. But then you had Outlast being the most recent one that got knocked back for Australia. It got knocked back because one of the antagonists in the game, a female demon type of thing, was forcing herself onto you to impregnate her while your wife was strung up in some sort of sexual ritual type of thing. And I go, I don't want to see that, but I also, if it's just one scene, I don't really want the government telling me what I can and can't watch. But I thought, if that's where the line is and I miss out on playing Outlast, which I'm not going to play anyway, if they tell me I can't play that, well, hey, so be it. That's where it is.
Oof, yeah. This is heavy stuff. It's complicated.
It's not where we thought it was going to go when we talked about.
Yeah, we were talking about this like a.
Are we go back to Earthworm Jim soon? Like, I want to talk about Kirby or no. It's good that we're talking about this because, games are new.
Dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah, games are they need to learn where they expand themselves and where do they need to kind of pull back. And I don't know. I'm not the arbitrator of that, but it's complicated, right? Like, I don't know. It's tough to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, guys, I have a question that I hope all of you have an answer to. What is the worst end credits sequence of all the games you've played? This comes from Elroy OMJ. We've all sat through some credits before, but what is the worst?
Guitar Hero Live. Guitar Hero Live's credits are like 55 minutes long.
What?
And they have an achievement.
What? For watching it.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was Guitar Hero Live. Pretty sure.
Man.
I don't know how they managed to make them that long. I could be wrong. I'm going to double check. But it's one game. It's around an hour. And there was an achievement. So I'm going to figure it out. But I'm pretty sure it's Guitar Hero Live.
To make them that long?
I don't know.
Like, is it the slow scrolling speed of all the people that worked on it? Or?
And I find it impossible to believe that many people worked on Guitar Hero Live. I mean, I guess that could be why it's so bad that they have 10,000 people working on the game.
You miss the key here. They have to also miss all the production credits for every single song on that album. So everybody was involved in all the production and all of the companies, and then they have to list every single employee of, say, Warner Music as well, and then think all of their wives.
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
Do you know, actually, I've got a bit of a different take on this. The worst credit scene was the first Marvel film that put something worth watching at the end of it. I don't know, it was Iron Man or Thor or something. Because now, when you go and sit down in the cinema, you're like, oh man, what if this movie has an end credit scene?
I'm usually Google. Here for as soon as the credits come up, it's like a Google post-credit scenes for this movie is to see whether or not it's
Yeah. I wish that, I wish I was smarter and I did that, but I don't. So I've sat through a few credits at the cinemas recently where it's like, why did I sit through this? I know there's not going to be anything. I can just watch it on YouTube later, but I paid my $20 and I'm going to sit here and see if there is something.
Yeah, you don't. If it's a Marvel film, you don't need to worry about it. You're going to get it.
And they're usually pretty quick, the Marvel films. So I don't want to bash on them too much.
No, that's the studio that encourages you, quote unquote, to stay through the end of the credits. God, I want to get into spoilers now, but Infinity War, but
I haven't seen it.
I won't.
So I confirmed it is Guitar Hero Live. The credits are 22 minutes long, but the achievement is for watching them twice.
Wow.
So yes, that's where the hour was coming from. It's 44 minutes for the achievement. Why? At 22 minutes in the first place. No, it's actually specifically for watching the credits. Like, you can do it after you finish the career and just let them roll, I think. But
do you get the credits for finishing the career, or can you go and click credits in the menu, or what?
I think you can just go click credits. No, maybe not. Yeah, you have to beat the game at least once, and then you have to watch the credits twice. Yeah.
At least it takes less time than Stramillionaire.
Yeah, yeah.
So you would have had to watch the credits 4 times then.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you, Randy.
Yes, it does. But they're done. Oh, look, there's a thread here.
You made your bed.
Not working.
You can sleep on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all complete. They're packed away in the boxes, never to be opened again. That is the worst.
Until I come visit, and I want you to get all those achievements for me.
Not on Guitar Hero Live.
Bring a bandsaw or bring a.
I want to.
Massager.
I'd actually like to see just how quickly you can actually do the strums before the game stops registering. Because
you could hook something up to a guitar, I'm sure. I mean,
I've already got my rig that. So I've built a little controller rig for the Guitar Hero controller, which basically just has a little microcontroller that can connect to it, and so I can strum that. I can strum that thing pretty damn fast.
You'd have to get the new Guitar Hero Live guitar though, but I mean they're dirt cheap and the same. They use the same parts inside. I think they like recycled them or something.
Yep.
But it's like hacky. Like they use like some of the same parts and then like cheaped out on some other pieces, and they're just the worst. It's the worst. It's a terrible game. Terrible game.
But then, on the other hand, to do that, I would actually have to buy the game and be interested in playing it, and I'm just not. So
yeah, no, it's not worth your time. It really isn't.
Yeah. So on that note, I think that's where we're going to end the show. Oof. We talked about some fun stuff, and then we talked about some heavy stuff, and then we talked about some. We kind of run the gamut. Yeah, music stuff, whatever. But hey, Pluto, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they find you?
I'm on Twitter, and you can find me on Xbox and True Achievements, and Mixer, Professor Pluto. Twitch was kind enough to have Professor Pluto already reserved as a name, so I'm Professor Pluto 1 on Twitch. In the next couple of weeks, I will be hitting my 300,000 Gamerscore. I'm going to finish 4 fantastic games on stream. My Horse and Me 2, Hannah Montana, the movie, the game, Winx Club, and Barbie and her sister's puppy rescue.
Winx Club, that's a good touch. I like that.
It is not good, Randy.
No, but it's a good addition to the the theme.
Yeah, so I just thought I like celebrating good milestones like that. So I'll be doing that the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Well, when you get to 300,000, it's kind of like, hey, I celebrated 100,000 with Call Me Sir achievement in Battlefield 4. And it's like, I think I did something else for 200,000. Maybe it was the other version of Battlefield 4. But it's like, now I'm at 300,000. This is how good I am. I can complete 4 wonderful games.
Wonderful.
Let us know when that... Yep.
Yeah, I will. I'll put it in the Discord, but you can also follow me on those channels, and you'll know when I'm going online. But I think it will be in about a fortnight from today. The other thing I wanted to quickly plug was I've watched.
Don't mention Fortnite; you might get sued.
No, NIGHT. Sorry.
Oh, right, sorry.
I watched. Because I love talking about Rocket League. I saw a video. I don't know if you've watched these, Proulx, but have you ever heard of Sunless Khan?
No, I don't think I have.
He has a video series out called Why You Suck at Rocket League. And he's got a new series out called The 7 Deadly Sins of Rocket League. So I've been watching his videos, and they're quite tongue-in-cheek, but I think he's at Diamond 3 or Grand Champ kind of level. So it is quite fun watching his stuff. But he's not a friend of mine or anything. I just thought, check out his Rocket League videos if you enjoy Rocket League.
Yeah, no, I will definitely check it out. And also, listeners, please check out Pluto. He is, he's a fantastic community member. He's always around. He's been super great in the community. So yeah, go ahead and listen to him and check him out. What about you, Tarragon? How are people going to get hold of you?
Well, I'm on Twitter and Discord and True Achievements and anywhere else that matters as ZZ, so it's 2 Zs, Urban Spaceman, all one word. Just shoot me messages wherever. Mostly active on Discord, but yeah, a message on True Achievements as well will get to me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And Randy, how about you? How are people going to get hold of you?
I am on True Achievements, Crandy, or Twitter, Randy2727.
Fantastic. They can find me on Twitter as well, at OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word. Guys, this has been really fun. Really interesting conversation. We've kind of been, we've run the gamut here. We've gone from fun and lighthearted to really heavy and kind of dour. But I think we've had a good time the whole time, and I hope all our listeners. It's
almost like we spoke about hell for like the last half of the.
But yes,
it's really it's going beyond the fourth wall. It's gone to the fifth now. It's
exactly. So check us out, and you know what? We'll catch you next week.
See you later.
Thanks for listening.
Z to Z Podcast presents Review Zed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Review Zed. I am one of your co-hosts here, but you already know because I was on the regular show, so you can hear my voice.
You're normal.
Yeah, but joining me, of course, is Mr. Mighty Mango. How are you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. So, hey, did you do the G-Task challenge for last week?
The 10 Xbox 360 ones?
Yeah.
Yes, I got that done.
Fantastic. It was actually a pretty easy one, especially coming off that alphabet challenge, which was a little trickier.
Correct.
But what can people look forward to next week?
All right, next week on the G-Task, the GTASC individual bonus. It's called On the Down Low. It's end the scoring period with a ratio of under 1.2. So, any Neo Geo fans, here's your chance. ACA all week long.
Only super easy stuff then. Telltale
super easy. Telltale.
Probably. Really easy. I mean, if you pop one tough achievement, you're done.
Yeah.
But
you have to just flood yourself with just easy stuff.
Yeah.
If for some reason you haven't played Avatar or Fallout 3 PC, here's your chance.
I actually may be finishing up Fallout 3 PC next week just because I'm on vacation, but I still think I'll be disqualified. I don't think I'm going to be getting this one, but that's okay.
I think this one I can do. It's about all the time I have for it, so.
Yeah, just get something easy done and call it a week.
Exactly. All right, well, let's get into what we're actually here to talk about.
Yes, and what an interesting title this week's was. Very different. So, Mango, you and I were talking before when we were trying to select a title for this week, and we had enough of Norse mythology.
Yeah, no more Norse mythology, no more dark.
Yeah, nothing. We wanted something a little more colorful, a little more light, and a little more fun. So we picked this game called Masters of Anima, which
is developed by Pastech Games. This is the first game that I see that they released on the Xbox One. It was published by Focus Home Interactive. Release date is April 10th, 2018, with a sale price of $19.95. This one was actually released in Steam the same time, so no early release for PC users this time.
Haha, take that.
Yes.
One game that we talked about.
One game we got.
Yes. This is an interesting little title. It's a strategy game for sure. The closest game I've ever come would be Pikmin, and it is very close to Pikmin. Basically, it's an isometric view, and you control a character who summons these other characters called Anima, I guess, or the power source is called Anima. I can't specifically.
Yeah, the power source is Anima. The other characters are called Guardians.
Oh, Guardians, yes, yeah. So you have, of course, a handful of types of these characters that you summon with your power, and of course you're limited in how many you can summon. And then basically it's a strategy game. Where do you position yourself on the battlefield, or your characters, these guardians, and that's kind of how you play through it.
Correct. Yeah, and you can actually interact with your character as well. So when you're in a battle, you can fight, but it's not too smart because your guy is not very strong.
And I've learned very quickly that you want to be moving most of the time because, we'll talk about it, but this game, the difficulty curve in this game is pretty steep.
It's extremely steep. After the first battle, I was like, oh, I got this. Get to the second battle, I was like, oh, died.
Yep.
Oh, tried again, died. Tried again, died. I'm like, wow, they did not give us a chance at all to figure out what's going on in the game.
Yeah, it's not unforgiving because there's no real penalty for dying. You just start over at the checkpoint, which is almost always right where the battle started. So you only ever seem to lose 5-10 minutes, but it's super frustrating because it happens so quickly. Like you mentioned,
you can be way ahead in the battle and just instantly dead.
Yep. Yeah, and or like one errant, the enemy uses a super strong AoE attack, kills all your guardians, and if it's into the battle, you can't summon anymore. So you're just kind of left to die on your own. The difficulty curve, I think, could use a lot of attention here.
Definitely some attention there, and I think some way to get more anima so you can actually continue to fight. Because once everybody dies, you get a little bit back, but eventually you can't do anything. You've already lost. It's not really playing fair.
Yeah, it's diminishing for sure. There are some different types of guardians that can give you some anima, but again, it's not enough to overcome that sort of one wrong move, and I lose all of this energy. So that being said, the difficulty curve was by far the most frustrating part of this game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It looks really nice. It handles pretty well. We'll talk a little bit about the controls in a minute, but the presentation is good. I like the voice acting.
Yeah, the voice acting's good. The way they do the dialogue and the story. The main character, Otto, is self-deprecating, so he kind of puts himself down, and the other characters kind of put him down too because they think he's a joke. Yeah,
you play that type of character. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, not at all.
The game is not that heavy or anything like that. What I noticed too is, and I put this in the notes, the main character is voiced by the same guy who plays Garrett. I think it was the first guy you play in Telltale's Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty distinctive voice.
One of the lesser annoying characters in the Game of Thrones game.
Yeah. No. So the graphics are colorful. Yeah, kind of like a WoW vibe, I would say.
Yeah, I'd see that a little bit. It has that kind of aura to it.
Yeah. But the big thing as far as actually playing it is the difficulty and then of the controls, because you're doing some pretty complicated things in the game.
Yeah, you can tell the game was almost built for PC because the controller just doesn't have enough buttons for all the things you have to do in an efficient manner. So I admit I raged quite a few times over it because I was trying to do the moves that I'm supposed to do, and I can't do them. Okay, walk away, take a breath, come back. Okay, I'm still not doing it right. What am I doing wrong? Then you read the instructions, what tells you what to do. So they're a little bit frustrating. It's a lot of button combinations that you have to do quickly.
Yeah, it's like, you have your different guardian types, and you start out with one, but it goes up quickly. 3, 4, 5, and there are 2 button shortcuts to do these different things with the different classes, and it's really tough to get that sorted in your head in the middle of a battle when you're just trying to get everybody to go left to avoid the attack.
That'll kill all your guys, of course.
Yeah, and so it's really frustrating to be like, I can't. This is just too much, and so I definitely raged quite a few times myself where I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
So if there was a difficulty select, I think that would have helped.
It would have helped a lot. Not to say that we're terrible at video games. Elle tells me all the time I'm terrible at video games, but I think a difficulty would definitely make the game a little bit more pleasurable and not so anger-inducing.
Yeah. And the problem is, and we'll move right into achievements here in Masters of Anima, The achievement list seems to me about 50% doable, and the rest I would never ever go for, ever.
Yeah, the beating the game in under 4 hours achievement, that seems a little tough.
Yeah, I've played about 4 hours of the game, and I'm not sure how far into the story I actually am, but yeah, I do feel like that a speedrun would be very difficult for this game. The bigger problem is S ranks.
Yes,
and
you have to S rank every level.
Yes, every level. And so you get graded on 3, I think, criteria. 1 for your character's health, 1 for Guardian's Lost, and maybe 1 for time, I want to say.
I think it's for time.
Yeah.
I think the best I ever got was a C.
Yeah, I mean, I got like S's in like one. Like if I didn't, my character
it might
didn't
be
get
one.
hit, I got
yeah,
an S.
yeah, one thing.
But on average, yeah, I was right at like a B, C level. So, not to say that you couldn't get good enough at it. Clearly, this is just not our normal type of game where we can just pull that off.
Well, the problem was it was too bright.
Yeah, that must have been the problem.
Some people in his TA people are posting it takes 10 to 12 hours to beat. No way. You would have to be insta good at this game, and I don't see that happening.
Nope. Yeah, because you're looking at least, I want to say 3 playthroughs, right? Because you're not going to get S ranks your first time.
And as long as your level carries over, then you can at least have more of a chance. But I don't know if that happens or not, because neither of us got that far.
Yeah, no, we didn't get to beat the game. But if there's New Game Plus, I could see doing S ranks your second time through, and then a speed run a third time through. Otherwise, I can't see you doing this in under three playthroughs.
Yeah, no way. I mean, maybe 20 hours, maybe. I would say maybe 25, 30, depending on how well, if there's a New Game Plus, or if your level carries over. If your level doesn't carry over, yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, they'd be pretty tough. So you know, I don't want to feel like we've been down. I think this is actually a really good, really solid game.
Yeah, we're being a little nitpicky. I mean, it is a good game. I mean, there are good points to the game.
Yeah,
it's just difficult.
Yeah, yeah. If you enjoyed Pikmin or any strategy games, and this kind of sounds like something you'd be interested in, you're definitely going to you'll definitely enjoy it. Like, there's no doubt. Just be prepared to you might have to replay some levels to get some practice in, or just be prepared for multiple playthroughs. That's all.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of RTS games, I mean, not quite like Red Alert or Command and Conquer, not that type, but I mean, like Pikmin. I mean, if you're into something where it's real-time strategy where you have to think on your feet really quick, you'll like it. And I don't hate the game. I want to be very clear. It's not a bad game. No, I enjoyed the first level or two before it was like, oh God, I just die so fast. I don't know what to do. Exactly. You die so quickly. When you do something wrong, you die very fast. No joke.
It was so funny because I went on YouTube to watch some videos just to see, like, I was stuck on this bridge part for like 2 days, and I'm like, how are people doing this? And the people I saw videos doing it were like, they must have been playing on PC, I guess, because they were doing super complicated commands so quickly that I just couldn't. I guess with enough practice, I could probably get that good, but it just felt so prohibitive, you know. Like
I'm guessing there's hotkeys on the PC.
Exactly,
really quick.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking too.
Let's see. What about the price? $19.95 seems a little high. I think maybe just a little. Maybe $14.95. Maybe wait until it goes on sale if you're really kind of questioning it. Yeah.
Unless you're a strategy game maestro, and this is exactly your thing. Because I would say that it's probably worth $20 in like content alone. Like I said, the game seems to be not crazy long, but 5-6 hours on your first playthrough.
Yeah, and it has replayability in it as well.
Yeah. $15-$20 seems pretty fair to me.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're on the fence, wait for a sale. It'll probably go on sale at some point. It's an excellent title. If you want a good laugh, the dialogue's actually good for a laugh here and there too.
Yeah, and it's the one thing, you know, it's unique too. We don't have a ton of these types of games on Xbox, so it is definitely refreshing in that way. It's not another platformer or another puzzler. It's a neat kind of third person strategy game. So definitely give it a shot if it sounds like something you'd be into.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah, and that was Masters of Anima. So we'll return it back to the main show.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everybody, it's time for a community roundup. I hope you guys enjoyed the show so far. I hope you guys missed me, right? Anyway, I'm back. Let's talk GTASC 2018. This is the Great True Achievement Score Challenge. We are roughly halfway. What's halfway? 25-ish? So we're in period 20 that completed on May 30th. So maybe not quite halfway, but certainly deep into the round here. And we got some new blood at the top Zeds. There was a fun little push here, and it seems personal. Yeah, it was the top Zed first place, better than Keith and McLovin. So I bet you can imagine who the other half of that duo is. Well, it was Tatey and Buck Marley 155. They went nuts. And went ahead and beat an Englishman and a Welshman enter the GTASC, the team of McLovin Legend and Keith 27-11-79. They got second place. Both teams used 16,000 points in bonuses, and the better than Keith and McLovin beat them by 450 TA, so very slim margin there, pushing Eat, Sleep, Complete, Repeat down to third place. The near miss, well, that was Super Sandwiches, the team of Big L and Matriarch. They were 14 places over elimination, about 300 TA. As far as eliminations, well, we lost Kronos and his team, Board Game Bros, his teammate Tressellation. The two of them went down in period 20. So as far as the top Zeds go in the individual side of it, well, it is certainly with those four UKers, you know, they're going to be in the top there. Well, the number one spot goes to Buck Marley, 155, finishes in first, followed by Keith, 27-11-79, McLovin Legend in third, and Tatey, he's in fourth, Smirnov in fifth. So the top, the Zeds there representing well. Nice work, you guys. Way to kill it. The near miss, well, it was Beelzebug. He was 40 spots, had to use 2,000 points in bonuses, but staves off elimination. Cannot say the same for CS Geek Squad and Waddy 8883. Geek Squad used a bunch of his bonuses last week and just couldn't get enough going this week. So it is the end of the road there. It is June. The first week of June here. So your random to-do lists are up. Your June random to-do lists are up. And now with Tarragon, you heard him on last show. You heard him on this show. And now that he's back and energized, he came up with some really fantastic and creative ideas about how to improve the RTDL, how to improve its functionality, do some fun, cool things for the community. So check Discord, because he's there hanging out. He's fielding inquiries. If there's things you want to include, add. We're working behind the scenes on some really great stuff here in the near future. Don't know when it's rolling out, but I assure you it is super, super darn cool. Our community challenge for the month, it was for June. Well, it's E3, guys, right around the corner. We're about 1 week out from when this airs. And June's contest is E3 games. So the games that contain exactly 3 letter E's in them. So, for instance, I just did The Little Acre. Right? The has an E, little has 1 E, and acre has 1 E, and collectively that is 3 of them. So there's an example for you right there. But, so any achievement earned in a game that contains 3 E's will get you an entry into this month's community challenge. Gamertag challenge for the month of June. We are doing Skeptical Mario. A good selection of 14 letters there, a nice mix. The lot of variety in there. The double I's could be tricky for me, especially since I just completed iZombie last month, or 2 months ago, I guess. Our game of the month. Well, the vote is out, and we have finalized. It is A Way Out, the Josef Ferez joint from what the hell is the studio called? Anyway, High Point, something like that. And anyway. It is the game of the month, so if you're interested in participating, just play the game. Play the game anytime in the month of March. We have Tarragon put together a really cool tracker, so you can see the achievements that people are earning while it goes. Tarragon and I plan to play this game together. We'll have to find a time to do it, and we'll throw it up on YouTube so you guys can watch the stream, hear our banter as we try and clumsily get our way breaking out of prison and go on the lam. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a good experience, a nice co-op experience to share with a community member or invite someone new. because you know what? It's a wonderful way to share our community. We have a wonderful community here, and if we can just spread the word, let others know on how much fun we have, it's more to share, more fun to go around. So that's one awesome way that you can help promote the community, grow the community. Another way, and so many of you do it, and I thank you so much, is Patreon. We just closed out May, so we will be doing a May drawing here in the near future. All of you patrons in May have an opportunity at winning a full retail game, a game of your choice. You pick, and we will ship it to you or send you the digital code if that is your ilk. So thank you so much to anyone who supports us financially. You guys are great. You keep the show running. You help us, keep the lights on, pay for the services, all sorts of stuff. Everything goes back into the show. So, it is wonderful. And since it was, we just had the turnover, I had a couple people remind me, hey, I paid for May, so let me see that beautiful gold title in Discord. And so you guys have been upgraded to gold status in the Discord chat. Thank you so much for your patronage. And if if that's too much to ask, we totally understand. That's a big ask, so nothing is expected. If you just want to rate or review us wherever you listen to the show, or even better, spread the word to your friends. Let them know about what we do in this community. The fun stuff we have going on in Discord. I highly recommend you go over there. It is discord.io/Z2Z. That is an always open invite for you to join our community. Come hang out and chat. It's always busy. There's lots of stuff going on. It's a great little group. We love to have new people. Other than that, you can also head over to our website. That's where the contests are, forum.z2z.com. And if you want to look for me personally, I'm at Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE, and the show at ZZZEDTOZED. Hey, thank you guys so much for being a part of the community. Thank you so much for all the support you give us and just hanging out and being cool people. We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next episode. See ya.
This is Kelly, but you may know me as the significant other of Elroy. Love that guy. And you are listening to What the L?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to What the L?
It's been a lot. Man. No, it's just weird to hear your voice. It's been a while. What is this? Almost 2 weeks off? Was that? Wow, that's...
I don't know. Playing soccer like a ninny.
Yeah, and what else was it? There's something else going on. I can't remember.
Well, we were memorializing some people.
Oh, yeah. Families. Yeah, family stuff.
Barbecues,
That's right.
Man.
Yeah.
Eat.
Make a mean
That's
burger.
Like my thing.
So welcome back. What's been going on in the world of RTDL since the last time we chatted?
Well, you seem to take the month off last month, and
oh yeah, kind of made a late push though. Even though I had some that were unobtainable that I found out on day 30 of my list.
Yeah. Well, it's because you took the day off from work to work on your list, dude.
Yeah, indeed.
Or is it summertime in the South?
Oh, we on summertime for sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Where I'm from, school goes till the end of June.
Oh, that's crazy tough.
And we start back after Labor Day.
What? Nah, we start at the beginning of August.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only like a couple months off.
It's like 110 degrees.
I'm sure you'll see me on the Xbox Live. I'm sure my tag will be green a lot. So
do we have any like things we're supposed to reveal on our segment, or is that just like that other segment that does that as like a gimmick to get people to like go to their segment? But I apparently am very monotone when I talk, so I've been told by them. And, yeah.
Well, there has been a lot of changes. It seems that...
Changes, I love that song. Hello, changes. Oh.
Yeah, the spaceman has emerged from outer space, and he has been talking some crazy talk. It sounds like the RTDL could finally get some of those modifications.
Yay, spaceman! I always wanted you to go into space, man. That's a song about him. It's very good.
Oh, so there's that, and then we have finally, that wonderful idea that we had a couple of. Well, the wonderful idea that I proposed, it finally came to fruition, and we got the table. We got the RTDL table. So I'm looking at it, and we got the Premier League, and we got the Championship League. We got these renamed, and then we got D1, D2, and then we got the Minor League. So
you sank my battleship.
Yes, and we have some pretty late-breaking updates on it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we had a couple of teams that disbanded from last month that we just got notification in the commissioner's office. So, Kahuna, sad to see him go, and Buffalo of Lies. I mean, he was built on a foundation of lies to start with, and Zekling.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that is, but
it's a little Zek.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so they all disbanded. So that was an opportunity for several teams to move into the void. So I'm plowed.
You're plowed.
I'm plowed.
Hey.
I'm plowed to announce that.
Oh,
it's past my bedtime, man. It is past my bedtime. But Toad Style Venom, congratulations! You've been promoted to the Premier League. Saucy Slingo,
shame though,
is up to the Championship Division. And then we had two individuals, X Towers and Professor Pluto, all moved up to D1. And then Spanky and Sprankle. I don't know. Spanky and somebody. Buck Marley, 155. And Radtech, 2468. Who do we appreciate? They were called up from the minor leagues and are now in the D2 and, looking to make some noise. And then, final announcement, Exprovos and Matthew 00, they've been called up into the minor leagues, and so we're looking to see if they can, get some looks down there. So, anyway, that is your table update, and I'll be sending out the new fixture pretty soon. It looks like Old Man Fug is in charge of the Premier League. Last month we kind of missed the final tally, if you will. Yeah. I had something special planned, though.
You did?
Yeah, we were going to do some graduation thing. I was going to make like a graduation theme. I was going to play the graduation theme song in the background. And, and then we're going to talk about all the RTDLers that had been.
Still do it. Just save it for another show, man.
Oh. Okay, I guess I could. Yeah, but anyway,
right.
it was going to be a cool thing, and all the people that had all the graduation requirements, just get one achievement, and then we had several failures. So we're going to talk about them. Yeah, it was going to be a whole thing. But yeah, sorry, with just no time to record, families, all that good stuff. So, but it looks like Fug came out ahead, and and so he's leading the Premier League, and then
any day that he's still breathing, he comes out ahead, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, his team's kind of aging, and we're not sure that that he's going to be able to go the distance. That is a concern.
The distance.
Yeah,
he's going for speed.
And so, Wildwood Mike, I don't know, Mike Wood. Yeah, Wood is in first place of the championship league, and yeah, the fresh one is in Division 1, leading that division, and Homer.
Did I know her? I don't remember.
Yeah, well, if you did, he or she is in charge of Division 2. So there you have it. Yeah, that is your table update.
Am I on it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're in the Premier League. You're currently you're up in second place of the Premier League. Man, look at you.
Are you on a team?
Yeah, I'm down in fifth place. I kind of took the month off. But, yeah. Not as bad as a couple of people, but...
You'll be back.
Yeah. So, we have some questions from the audience this week. I think you sent out a notification about that.
We got so much so many requests that I could only pick from one person, and that was Rock.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did the dead one have to say?
Well, his first question was, what RTDL achievement that you still have left are you looking the most forward to trying? And since I did absolutely no research, let me tell you.
All right.
The answer is probably none of them, but I got actually a lot of beat the game achievements.
Oh.
So,
which games?
Bully Scholarship Edition.
Ooh.
And the game that you go to school, so it's like I don't want to go to school, learn and stuff.
It's
actually, and then there's Alice Madness Returns, which is not bad, but the levels are so long. But I'm going to try to go for that. I'm going to try to beat Alice and beat Bully, and beat you this month, sir. What do you say to that?
Why not?
I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, I think I'm most looking forward to this wonderful Telltale game called Back to the Future, the game 30th edition or anniversary edition. I mean, I heard such great things about it, and
amazing.
No, I hate my entire list.
Well, that's
actually.
the second question: is what achievement are you least looking forward to trying?
Oh well, I can definitely answer that one.
And along with it, which achievement would you re-roll?
No, that's a difficult question. There's a lot on this list I would have re-rolled. If you had asked me this morning, I would have said Maria the Witch. I tried that yesterday, and it was a hot garbage dumpster fire. It was awful. Yeah, that game basically has two buttons, and you have to control this person flying around, and I looked for all kinds of help videos, and I was like, there's got to be something I'm just missing here. Because I'm colliding with everything that I'm not supposed to. I am just not going in the right way. And apparently Maria the Witch is some kind of show or something, so you get all those hits on YouTube. There's no guides on TA. There's some YouTube user called Maria the Witch who has some videos about necrophilia. And
is she hot?
I didn't get that far. I think she was more trying to get her point out there. But I think her point was that necrophilia is not bad because the dead are not unwilling or something. I don't know.
So they can't say no.
I think that's. It was all in the title. I didn't click on it. I didn't want my phone to start flashing stuff. You look something up on Amazon, then every ad you have is that, and so I didn't want to have some necrophilia stuff on my. Go to YouTube. Finish the video or something. And then, but anyway, so.
You answer the question.
I sure didn't. I just went off for a long time. I think there's a point to the story. So anyway, today I tried it again. I thought, well, I'll just outsmart it. So I have to get 20 mail, 20, like you're delivering mail. There's no email in this world. And so I have to deliver 20 mail. And so I thought, well, I got 2 right now. So what if I just restart the game and do that 10 times? Maybe there's a glitch in there. And I couldn't figure out how to restart it. And then I just kept going. And slowly but surely I could make a straight line. And then I just got in too deep. And I was just like, I got to finish this. I'm never coming back to this game. So I got that one. So I'm proud of that. That was the second highest one on my list. It had a whopping 2.86 ratio. And so, yeah. So I would say the one I would most want to re-roll, I'm going to try the Super Mega Baseball one. I think I might be able to pull that off, and it's worth a lot of points for that other contest thingy, the Grand Theft Auto South Carolina contest. And I think it's worth a lot of points for that, so I'm going to try that one. And then Saints Row Tuner. Saints Row, I looked it up on my game list. I have 20 pages of games on my game collection. I don't know if that's a lot or not a lot, but it was third from the end. So it's the game I haven't played in the longest besides DJ Hero and something else. I forget what it was. So obviously I have not played this in 8 years. Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to that.
This leads me to ask you a question.
Oh, yeah.
So who's better, DJ Tanner from Full House or DJ Connor from Roseanne?
Well, I don't know who either of those people are. So I'm going to go with
you
the
have a TV
both.
Growing up?
I guess I'll just go with both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, because they both sound wonderful.
All right. I'll answer the question now because you need to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think I would re-roll Worms Battlegrounds, Worm for the Job. And it looks like you have to complete all the Worm Ops missions, and there's no solution for it on TA, so that sounds hard.
Yeah. I
we
can see
can't have
that.
hard achievements. That's not good.
Yeah, I don't do those.
Oh, there's another question for you. Is a square a rhombus?
Well, I mean,
You're the teacher.
I thought everybody knew that all squares are rhombuses, but not all rhombuses are squares. I mean, I just thought that was common knowledge, but
so
maybe not. So I guess the answer is 42.
And
so
will Kingsman make it to my last question? Oh man, are we beating dead Kingsman?
Good times. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we answer
he had
Walker's final
one more
question?
I thought he had one more question.
Here it is.
Yeah, that was it. I thought his last question. So, I do have an update for you.
Oh,
it is kind of a minor update. So
hurry up.
Let's do it. All right, so it is time for RTDL update. I have a soccer shortly edition. So that's right. I have no time to write this. I have to go to my soccer game in just a matter of minutes. So this will be brief, and I may have soccer on the brain. Speaking of soccer, World Cup starts in a couple of weeks. Right? Yeah. Who am I kidding? If it ain't good enough for America, it ain't good enough for me. If I can't yell USA, USA at the TV, like my God-given constitutional rights give me, what's the point? But enough soccer talk. Let's look at the leaderboard. Fifth place. In fifth place. It doesn't matter what comes. Fresh 336666999 comes better with life. The RTDL is fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh 3366999. Staying cool with RTDL. Fresh 3366999 is full of life. Fresh 3366999 goes better. RTDL freshness. Fresh 3366999 goes better with RTDL. Fresh 3366999 and full of life. Woo!
Woo!
With 6 pops and 1,500 points, Fresh 336666999 is ready for some soccer himself with his no pay, no game pop in Motocross Madness and in his high score and stack them up in your fitness of all. More importantly, Mentos is a sponsor of the World Cup. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I just made that up. All right, fourth place. He must have been faking his injury because that faker did 50-12 because we just stretchered him off the RTDL pitch and now he's back. Much like his Sonic and All-Stars Chivo of Welcome to the Fantasy Zone, you might want to pick him up on your roster. He already has 5 shots, 5 kills. So he is looking to be offensive, not to be confused with offensive. Juggernaut, I'm the rocker dead biznatch. Third place, straight from the farm system. It's not so much Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal, but Twisted Dough and Crisco. It's Chef Doughboy RD with 6 pops and over 1,700 points. His claim to fame is he put up Perfect Match and Connect Joyride for a quarter, not a trimester, of his points. He also has been both staying in shape for soccer season and being quite a tease with good old jumping jackbox dance moves of When I Quip, You Quip, We Quip, and Grinders Keepers pops in his apple bottom jeans and his boots with a fur. The whole RTDL was looking at him. With the slimmest of margins, our first place leader for the week wins on PKs by 2 freaking points. Both have 9 pops. One has 21 points, and the other one has 23 points. Runner-up is currently the second strongest prospect in the minor leagues of the RTDL table. It is no other than Mark Beehole 89, who showed his killer instinct with 3 pops in said game, and another 2 in some wrestling games that I'm sure my co-host plays. The rest of his game really blow guns. Yeah. As he has shown his expert in that field in Reagan and Gorby, not to be confused with Albert and Otbro, which we should talk about sometime, Mel. Your champion of this week is appropriately enough the doctor from down under, the one and only raptor taming Chin Pratt. His list features a who's who of weird words that I do not know if I can pronounce. So instead, I will just mention that one of his pops was in that anime game Naruto Sharupa for yelling and running with clenched fists and causing explosions after summoning something and throwing it at someone else doing the same thing. Chin Pratt has already gotten his 2 highest ratio pops on his list and looks to be the early favorite for the first full combo of the quarter. That's all well and dandy. But let's not lose track of what is important here, which is I can still bake him in soccer. And that was your RTDL update. I have Soccer Shortly edition.
But you had soccer already, so are we in the past or the present?
I wrote this before I left. We won 4-1. I scored.
Speaking of the future,
yeah,
it's good to have ZZ Urban Spaceman back, who's in the future. And you just ruined it. I was going to say we have a message for him.
Oh, let's rewind. Do it again.
Okay, we have a message.
Nobody,
for you. 3, 2, 1. Thanks, man. Woo!